Can you tell me a story?
Sure. Once upon a time, a mom needed a new car.
Was she brave?
She was tired, mostly. But she went to Carvana.com and found a great car at a great price. No secret treasure map required.
Did she have to fight a dragon?
Nope, she bought it 100% online. From her bed, actually.
Was it scary?
Honey, it was as unscary as car buying could be.
Did the car have a sunroof?
It did, actually.
Okay, good story.
Car buying you'll want to tell stories about. Buy your car today on
Carvana.
Delivery fees may apply.
Hey, it's 10 a.m. and this is Utah's best sports radio.
Say my name.
You're locked on to Scotty G and the coach, Tim LaComb, presented by Mountain Land Supply on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
KSL Sports Zone 97.5. You're listening to Scotty G and the coach. You'll notice this is just the coach. It's usually the golden tones of Scotty G. And it's Alex behind the booth, behind the window over there. Alex, do you have your permit? Like, can we do this legally?
I think so.
I don't know if I should be out on the road like this, but we'll give it a rip. Scotty G is here. He just had, he has many duties other than just being the magnanimous show host around here. So, yeah, a little conference call at 10 o'clock, and he'll roll in. I was going to joke and say maybe he had the doctor's appointment, was waiting on a really important diagnosis, but probably not something we should have fun with on a Tuesday. Alex, how are you today?
Oh, I'm doing so great, man. Always happy to spend some time with you, Scotty, and Lloyd. However, Lloyd's not here, obviously, but still a fun time.
It isn't better when Lloyd's not here for some reason. I love his his power and all, but it's nice to have the cat's away, the mice will play kind of thing.
That's kind of what this week is for us.
It is.
Absolutely, yeah.
And it's a Scotty Music Tuesday, right? So.
I don't think he updated his playlist.
Oh, really?
I haven't seen anything come through yet, so maybe we're...
we'll just draw from
maybe we're
the
recycling.
bank of Scotty. Well, we are, we're immersed right here now in what they call the depth of the summer. And we are definitely excited today because we got a good show. We've got some good guests. We're working on another, but right now we have Tony Jones at noon, whose life just got way more crazy. Absolutely nuts. His time out there covering the Sixers will get a little more interesting with LeBron James announcing that he's going to go out there. And so we'll pick up with Tony, see what the buzz is in Philly, and then B, what his plans were for the year and what they're actually going to be. Because I think Philly's going to be right in the midst of it. So we're excited to have him. And then we also have Bill Bender. Tell us about Bill Bender, Alex. You booked that one.
He writes for the Sporting News. He's deep inside Big Ten territory, and so he follows and watches a lot of the Big Ten. And then obviously today is Big Ten Media Days, and so a lot of people are tied up with that. But he was more than happy to jump on and talk about what's going on at Big Ten Media Days as well as what's going on in the world of college football, because yesterday was a crazy news day when it came to college football. And I'm sure that will continue today as Big Ten Media Days rolls on, and Tony Petitti's at the stand right now talking, and so we'll see what they have to say.
One cool thing coming out of there, and I'm sure we'll be on it, is Kyle Whittingham will represent Michigan for the first time at the dais. At the dais, as Scotty approaches the dais. But yeah, Kyle will get his thoughts on Michigan, and Michigan football has been a fixture here in the state. So it will be great to catch up and see what Kyle's got going. So a good show, and we're also working on, I don't know if it's going to be today, but I'm going to leak it because he's told me he will come on. We announced last week that Brandon Davies is retiring from basketball, and texted back and forth with B, and we're going to try to get him on sometime today or sometime this week. So excited about that. Catch up with Brandon, see what he's been up to, see if he learned any foreign languages, and certainly another European friend of mine.
Do you like B or do you love B?
I love B. Anybody with a B?
Love you, B.
The love. You know what, dude? The truth is, I love everybody.
I know you do.
It's just the fact of the matter.
Even when a guy shows up late for a show, I appreciate that.
I told Alex, I said, I do believe this is part of a training that hasn't been told to me. Like, Okay, we're going to let you out on the road. You got your permit, but you don't have to be with your parent this time. So I think we did 9 minutes together, and I think, hey, the show's still on the air.
That's all that matters. Just keep it on the track.
But we didn't miss you.
No, well, I had to take a quick phone call and appreciate that. But yeah, you know what? The Kyle Whittingham thing is fascinating. And I was watching an interview with him that was, showing up online, and I was just like, wow, just seeing him wear that maize and gold, or is it maize and gold?
Yeah, it's maize and gold.
Okay. Just wearing him wear those colors and have that big M on his chest. It's just like, yeah, feels dirty.
They were just, when I was in pre-show visiting with Alex while you were on the call, I looked up and they had Kyle in practice. And he had, the face he pulls.
Oh, yeah.
This one, like, I know what's going on out there, but I'm like, what is going on out there? That thing, that face. He had that face a lot.
Michigan's going to be really good, too. Like, I think Michigan is I don't know where they were ranked. Probably was it third or fourth. I think it was Ohio State 1 and Oregon 2, and then after that I lost track. But I think Michigan's got every chance to win that whole conference.
Well, we know that dude leaves no stone unturned, right? And he's got big-time athletes. He's going to have some fun with the offense, be able to kind of do some things out there. But I would bet that, it's going to be a return in some ways to the Bo Schembechler, line them up, run them over. We're bigger and faster and better than you. I think that will be part of Kyle's MO because it always has been.
Yeah.
Physicality, and Morgan talked about it too. It's going to be a staple of Utah. Regardless of how you play, you better play physical.
Yes.
And we'll definitely see that from Michigan.
Oh, yeah. Michigan's going to bring a level of physicality that will knock some people around for sure. All right, let's get to it. 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Time for your starting lineup.
It's time to kick off the show with the biggest headlines of the day. This is your starting lineup on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
As you mentioned, Big Ten Media Days ongoing and a couple interesting storylines. We might just have some legislation in place before this thing's all said and done.
Crazy.
Now, it's really hard, and I know that Alex is efforting some guys to come on and help us out a little bit. There's a couple of big storylines. Number one, what's going on at Stanford and their hope to unionize. But what this thing could look like, it is just like anything in Washington, there's a lot of pork involved, which means everybody wants to attach something to it. Everybody's look, you'll get my vote if I get this interstate in the middle of Alabama. Everybody wants to attach something to it.
It's got a lot of pork.
Yep, a lot of pork to it, and a lot of pork belly. And you can't really identify what the key elements are while having to sift through all that stuff. So that's going to be the biggest question mark of all of this is how does this affect Bronco Mendenhall? How does this affect Kalani Sitake? How does it affect Morgan Scalley? Because two of the three are at a very different level than the other one. Where Utah State is it is certainly a different place in the stratosphere than where Utah and BYU is currently at. And that's just the realization of it. How does it affect the haves? How does it affect the have-nots? How does it affect the super haves, like the the Big Ten and the SEC? There's three different levels here. And Utah, BYU, they're not in that upper echelon level, but they're not certainly in a poverty-stricken area either. So there's a lot of people that are trying to get theirs. Who ends up winning out? What does it look like? How does this affect these universities short-term and long-term? But the more this thing keeps picking up steam, the more I think that we might actually get a vote on this at the end of this week or early next week.
And that would be such a shot in the arm for so many schools. I mean, the high-end schools have certainly figured out a way. Ohio State, new announcement comes out today, and we'll hit on this at some point, but they just signed a New Jersey patch deal, and it's massive. So, the end game right now is try to figure out as much revenue as possible to be able to keep things afloat, but with just a teeny bit of alteration and attacking some of the things that are causing a lot of the problems, like the transfer portal. To be able to get some of that stuff under control, I would think at a certain point would bring the money into a little bit more reasonable spot, and then people can actually plan and actually function as a university. Right now, like Utah, they went out, thinking really, really big and thinking down the road. They go do this venture capital deal. So teams and schools around the country have definitely had to stretch. But, man, this could come at a great time. Talked about it yesterday. I think it's inevitable that we're headed toward a super conference situation of some sort. And prior to that, to be able to have some guardrails, to have some things that allow these schools to operate on a premise that, is understood, because I think that's been the biggest thing. Nobody really understands what's going on. They're guessing. So to be able to have some guardrails will really help.
Well, and that's what I think everybody's just looking for. Give us some rules. Give us some guardrails as to what we can do, what we can't do. What are the loopholes on this so we can analyze it, so we can cheat, and so we all know what we're dealing with here. But I think that I think the biggest issue right now is, and this is my opinion, you tell me if you're wrong, but when I look at college athletics, to me, the biggest issue facing the individual institutions and affecting a fan base is eligibility in terms of transfers, unlimited transfers. To me, that's the number one thing that I want to – if you can go out and get money, you're worth what somebody's willing to pay you. And I understand that numbers are going up 20, 30% every year. Kyle Whittingham had some quotes that we'll play a little bit later on in the show. So I understand that there's an escalation of prices, but I'm not too overly concerned about a salary cap. I think people will afford what they're able to afford, and it will eventually, the Adam Smith invisible hand will balance everything out, and it'll get figured out. What I don't like and what I don't think is good for the sport is 60 to 70% of new rosters shifting every single year. And I think a kid, if he signs his name on a dotted line, that should mean something. I'll give you a one free transfer. You get a freebie. After that, you have to sit out a year. And I don't think that's an unreasonable request. And hopefully that's a part of this, because the more you keep kids at an institution, the more you're able to allow them to really identify with their community, the community to identify with them. Fans don't have any connection with these players these days. Just nothing. There's zero there. I mean, God bless A.J. DeBonsa. He was the one guy that we knew all along was going to be a one-year rental, but he came in and embraced the community, and BYU fans will always look at A.J. DeBonsa as a Cougar. But I don't know if people understand just how rare that is. That is the exception, the very slim exception to the rule. Guys are going to fly in. They're going to play a year. They're never going to go to class. They're going to play some basketball, and then they're going to leave, or football, or whatever the case is. And it just, I have a hard time envisioning that fan bases are going to stick with their teams the more that comes into play.
No, I'm with you. And I think the other thing to consider, because you hit it on the head, I mean, familiarity has been, culture has been a big buzzword around college athletics, and we've really lost that. Guys coming in, being here for a year doesn't work out. I mean, you can go down the list. I go to Utah and BYU basketball alone in the last couple of years and list off 10 guys, right, that have just come, and for I guess, lack of a better word, they were straight mercenaries.
Yes. Yep.
They came here to be mercenaries, and it didn't work out. The thing that doesn't get talked about a lot is the amount of cost involved in all that.
Yeah.
When a guy can transfer as much as guys transfer, the cost to bring somebody out here to see your place, the cost to host them, the cost to then put a deal together and then give them the money. Again, these schools are hemorrhaging cash right now. So this would be that would be another thing that would damper down some of the spending and some of the, I guess, it's not even you want to spend, you have to, right? You have to be out there in that market. So be able to slow some of that down, I think that thing alone would really help.
Well, it's just people are concerned about players, and rightfully so. Players, they got the short end of the stick for a long time. They deserve what they're getting. I have no problem with that. The second thing is, people, you got a lot of athletic directors and presidents worrying about their institution. Nobody seems to be caring about the fans. And nobody seems to care about the product that the fans are consuming, because ultimately it's their dollars that are going back into this thing. They're the ones paying the exorbitant prices for satellite or dish or streaming that's going right back into these schools' pockets with broadcast rights. They're the ones going to games. They're the ones buying $20 beers at whatever stadium is selling alcohol, or $10 bottle of waters, or $20 nachos with fake cheese that are disgusting. Like that, they're the ones chipping in all that money back into your program. And nobody seems to be thinking to themselves, wait a minute, what are we doing to engage our fan base to make sure that we don't lose them? That they don't just say, you know what? Yeah, I'm out. I'm just going to watch my NFL team and I'm good. I know what to expect from them every year. I know how free agency works. I know how contracts work in the NFL. I'm not going to get myself emotionally connected to a player and then see him bail at the end of the year. I'm not. I just can't do it anymore. And you're just going to see fans start to turn away. And we're not there yet. We're not even close to that yet. And that's why the SEC and the Big Ten are throwing their weight around like, oh, we got all this money. Yeah, you are, but what's going to be the long-term effect of that? I think baseball back in '94 did some serious damage when they sat out an entire year, like a year and a half with their strike and lockout. And it took decades for baseball. It frankly took, that happened in '94. It really took Sammy Sosa and Mark McGwire 4 or 5 years later to try to really get a fan base engaged again in baseball. That's the kind of damage you do when you tick off fans. And I think college athletics is getting dangerously close to that.
Yeah, it's why this is pivotal. And to your point, we've got a narrow window to get this to the floor and to a vote. But 35 minutes ago, On3 posted, basically it said, as reported by Ross Dellinger yesterday, conference commissioners have received a summary of bill revisions for the Protect College Sports Act. Dellinger reports that a Sunday call ending past midnight moved negotiations near a place of agreement with the leagues. These revisions center around several key issues, including 1, NIL transparency, 2, a new $20 million retention pool that schools could use to retain athletes. I love that.
Yes.
Keep guys in the school they're in. And then a proposed $21.3 million revenue sharing cap. One thing that I liked in the new legislation also floated an idea of a $5 million women's credit designed to provide additional resources for women's athletics. That's one thing, we're talking about. It doesn't say save college football, save college sports.
Yeah.
And so all of these Olympic sports, I love to see that they're being thought about, that money's being set aside, particularly for the women's side, because college sports is an entity, and we've got to, if we're protecting, we've got to protect it all.
See, the one thing you didn't bring up, though, is transfers. And I think this is the problem that we're going to run into, is that I don't think the SEC or the Big Ten want
a limit
on transfers, because they say, okay, we got $20 million here for a retention pool. So we can go out, we can get players, and we can keep players because we can give them more than anybody else, because not a lot of schools at the G5 level is going to be able to handle that $20 million retention, let alone the $21 million revenue share. And so they're looking at a situation where we want these guys to be able to move from the group of 5 up to our level. We don't want our guys to have to go back down. And so we can keep everybody here. We can still poach, and we have the money to keep them too.
So it's just we can fish in everybody's pond.
Yeah, exactly.
And the perfect example, we talked to Eric Carey yesterday at Weber State. Say they get a Rashid Shaheed again, and he goes off for a crazy year. What's to stop anybody, right, from coming in and poaching? And that in SEC and Big Ten, certainly they want to keep those options alive. And so one thing that I also like in this, it's a Big Ten SEC request, is to prohibit institutions, conferences, or associated entities from giving high school athletes improper compensation before enrollment. That would be a big one too, because we talk about entitlement and how we've been fighting this forever. Now it's not just entitlement, it's entitlement with hundreds of thousands, in some cases millions of dollars prior to them even getting there.
Yeah.
So let's close that off too, because that's just not reality. I mean, I would have loved it if you guys would have said, hey, while you're prepping the last 5 years to actually get this job, we're going to set you up with a really nice salary.
Yeah.
And you just get your feet around you. And hey, if it comes to be you don't like KSL and you want to go somewhere else, hey, no problem. We're going to pay you anyway.
Yeah.
It just doesn't exist in the world.
No.
So why would we do it there?
There's coaches out there that were telling me, and I know you've heard it as well, that guys were asking $50,000, $60,000 just to take a trip there.
Yes. Well, and honestly, dude, this is the part that I love to uncover, because these transfer or these visits, that was a staple of the pre-NIL world. You know, if you had a kid on a visit, most schools got a kid on a visit, there was a dollar amount attached to that.
To get him there.
To get him there.
Oh, okay.
And I don't think that happened probably here very much in the state, but like, you know, guys were getting $50,000 to go on a visit back then. So I would imagine that
way
number
more
is
now.
double. Yeah. Oh. I mean, it's nuts. So all that stuff is what's trying to be, and as you said, everybody's going to find, okay, we can't pay the kid, we'll pay his dad's boss or whatever we got to do. They find a workaround, but at least that would be one thing that would stop that nonsense.
10:25, just getting started. 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Scott Garrard, Tim LaComb, also the great Alex Napolis behind the glass. As always, making the magic happen right here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
G and the coach, Tim LaComb. Presented by Mountain Land Supply on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. All right, it's my playlist today.
Give a little bit.
I thought you'd like this one. This is a little bit left over from my list from last week. I was, during the break, I've been scrambling around this morning, and I, you know, like back in the day when you were in college with Lloyd.
You crammed.
And you show up to class like, hey, you guys ready for this midterm? And you're like, wait, what midterm? What midterm? Like, it's today. And so you start going through all your notes like crazy. Yeah, I'm trying to throw together a list real quick.
Good number one right there. Makes Tuesday feel a little better.
This is, again, a song you just can't, like, I dare anybody out there to be like, I hate that song.
Supertramp.
Yeah.
It's not Aqualung.
No.
And I want to say, give a little bit of those Scotty golden tones to us.
I got you.
Yeah,
hey,
always.
By the way, congratulations to Justin Herbert. He and his girlfriend, Madison Beer, are now engaged. I do not know who Madison Beer is. Should I know who Madison Beer is, Alex?
No, I think she's some sort of influencer. I'm not even, maybe a singer. I don't know what she does.
Songwriter and social media personality.
Oh, look at that. Good for you. Yep. Singer, songwriter, writes, produces, directs her own pop music. She gained media attention after Justin Bieber shared a link to her cover of At Last in 2012, which boosted her subscriber count and views. So, yeah, the Biebs apparently helped her get on the scene. And now she is engaged to Justin Herbert.
They'll have, 4 fine years of marriage.
Yes, that until a very nasty, ugly divorce.
When she finds out she was sleeping with the running back.
Oh.
I mean, that's kind of crazy stuff happens in this world. I don't wish it on them.
No. Certainly don't wish that. It just, there's always that sordid stuff that comes out that afterwards you're like, eesh, not great.
Songwriter, social media, professional athlete. Got to work hard to keep that thing together.
I will say, if you really want, this is pre-Twitter days, if you really want to go down a National Enquirer rabbit hole, Google Tony Parker, San Antonio Spur teammate. Who was that? It was his dad was in the league forever.
I don't remember. I know Jason Kidd. There's a bunch of things with Jason.
Well, yeah, the Jason Kidd. Look, people forget that Jason Kidd, Jamal Mashburn, and Jimmy Jackson were playing for the Dallas Mavericks. Young 3 players taking the league by storm. That team was fun. Tony Braxton releases a song called Unbreak My Heart, and let's just say Tony Braxton becomes very popular in that Dallas Maverick locker room. It becomes not a love triangle, a love square, because there's all 3 players trying to vie for her attention, and it just destroys that locker room where they have to trade everybody and dismantle that team because all of them fell in love with Tony Braxton and just completely obliterated that locker room. That would have been fun to have Twitter around during that time.
To this day, Jamal Bashburn still says that ruined his relationship with Jimmy.
Oh, yeah.
You know, so the heart probably wasn't as broken as the Mavericks at the end of the day. Thank you very much, Tony.
I think, you know who I think the coach was during that was Dick Motta.
That's right. It was Dick Motta, former Weber State.
Yeah. And poor Dick Motta's like, I don't know what to do with this nonsense.
I'm on the latter end of things here. His social media would have thrown him into a tizzy. But I will say one thing, Dick Motta coached my guy Roger Reed at Weber back in the day. So you connect those strings.
That Weber pipeline with Phil Johnson, I mean, there's a lot of people that went through that Weber State pipeline.
Absolutely.
Didn't Jim Herrick?
Jim Herrick may have been. Yeah, I think Jim Herrick was either there or Utah State. I think he was Utah State.
Okay, that's right.
But really big-time coaches have come through. Jim Herrick was definitely looking to see. Yeah, he was Utah State from 73 to 77.
And then there was Del Brown, who thought we had Del Brown on the air. Legendary coach at LSU, the guy
Shaq's coach,
Shaquille O'Neal's coach, Chris Jackson, then
Sharif
Abdul-Rahim's coach. But he wanted the Utah State job. They didn't give it to him.
It was Chris Jackson. It was Mahmoud Abdul-Rauf.
That's right.
I got the wrong
nice
three-namer.
Good job. There's been some quality coaches that have come through the state of Utah on the basketball side.
I mean, you go to Larry Eustace back in the day. We've talked about Stu Morrill. Frank Arnold was a hell of a coach at BYU back in the day. Jerry Pym.
Yep.
Wow, we had some guys.
David James loves to tell Jerry Pym stories.
Well, I was with him at Santa Barbara. We were flying over Reno.
And he looked over at me and he said, David.
He always has these stories.
I actually think we should probably do remember that book, that Tuesday with Maurice?
This is fun with David.
Thursdays with DJ.
Thursday mornings with DJ would fill the whole thing.
Yeah, we're just all right, DJ, the floor is yours. Tell a story.
Okay, there was this time. Walked out my front door. Straight across the road, the Johnsons. He was a judge. To their left, I mean, he gives you every detail that you'd even need. You don't necessarily need to know he was a judge.
Yeah.
But he tells you, which is helpful.
Like, you're going to get a detail of a story, and you think that that's going to be pertinent down the line in the story. No. It's not.
No, it's just color.
No. One time his wife painted their house red, and he got really mad and wanted it blue. So he paid a bunch of people to come by when she was on vacation. Anyway, that blew up. So back to the story.
First time a husband's ever filed an injunction against his wife. No more paint, babe. Till the judge says it's time.
So we saw the story about the jersey patch for the Big 12. The Monster Energy drink gives the Big 12 conference, I think each team's going to make about $1 million off of it. Well, Ohio State decided to enter the chat.
This is a check raise.
And said, you know what? That's cute.
That's nice.
We're going to go with this bank that you may have heard of called J.P. Morgan.
They're kind of a fledgling bank.
J.P. Morgan Chase. Jersey patches for all 36 of the Buckeye teams and will yield nearly $17 million per year for the athletic program. It is believed to be the highest non-apparel corporate deal in college sports.
So JP was like, cute monster. Watch this.
Wow.
Bam.
All right, so is there a university out there that's like Ohio State's probably there where all of its sports are somewhat national relevant? Because you see teams that, like Duke back in the day, they were basketball, they were great, but football, nobody's ever going to pay attention to Duke football. UConn, same thing. So if I'm going to go all in on a school, I need them to at least be really good in one sport and then respectable in everything else. Ohio State seems to be the one that kind of fits the bill there if I'm J.P. Morgan Chase.
Well, they certainly believe so, to the tune of $17 million a year. We talked about Texas Tech's stadium deal. And again, this is just everybody, getting in line, negotiating their deals with these big companies. They're able to do it. And I actually don't mind this piece as much. I know that it's not equitable, but at the same time,
no.
It's a free market.
Yeah.
And, J.P. Morgan Chase feels like that would be a real boon to them. So I'm all for that. And I think, we're going to see sizable deals like this with the bigger schools and not as big with others. I know BYU announced yesterday that they're doing a deal with BYU Continuing Education.
Yeah, for all their Olympic sports.
Correct. So because it's private, we're not going to really understand the details of that, nor the patch that's on the football uniform to go with the monster patch as well. But I think we're going to be Patch City. We're going to be Patch Adams.
Yeah.
Patch Adams.
Man, okay, look, I don't mind the patches.
I don't either. I actually don't at all.
The, inch by inch, square inch patches or whatever they are, I don't care about that. It's when they look like NASCAR or they look like MLS teams or, Premier League teams, when the logo of the advertiser is the primary focus of the uniform. Like that's a bridge too far for me.
Will it be like 5 years before we're there, you think?
Yeah, probably.
Okay.
Maybe less.
'Cause I'm just making sure. I would imagine that's where we're headed.
And if I'm JP Morgan Chase, it's like, you know what? You will no longer be the Ohio State Buckeyes. You will be the JP Morgan Chase Buckeyes.
And the funny thing is, way back when NIL first was talked about, that's what I said, is at a certain point, these entities will actually go in and claim that branding, right? And that's, at this point it's a patch, but 5 years from now it may say JP Morgan Chase with a teeny little, the Buckeye emblem on as a patch or something. Well, who knows where we'll go?
And I think that signifies the role that academics play in this and the role that advertisers play in it. Academics is about a inch square jersey patch. The financial and athletic part, that is the majority of why these kids are in school, which is fine. It is what it is. But come on, let's hold on to a little bit of our integrity. I mean, that cow's giving away a lot of milk for free. Let's just hold on to something. Let's just hold on to just a little bit of integrity of the good old days.
My favorite thing about the at least the iterations around here when corporates, like with RSL, for instance, the early jerseys have Zango across the front. It doesn't even exist anymore. Yeah. So that's the other part of this is, you hope these universities will last a little longer than some of the companies that are throwing patches on them. But this was approved in January this year by Division I to generate money. It's another avenue to generate money and a home run right there for Ohio State in all ways.
Well, and again, it just goes back to the whole adage of the haves and the have-nots. J.P. Morgan Chase is not giving this to Western Kentucky. They will give it to Ohio State. Western Kentucky will have...
like Forest Regional Bank.
Yes, and will make probably $100,000 or $200,000 a year, whereas Ohio State gets $17 million per to slap on a patch, and that's it. God bless America.
God bless America. Is that on your list today?
No, but maybe it should be.
Maybe it should
considering,
be. Passing money around like this. Capitalism, baby.
Goodness. But, all right, so Ohio State, they set the bar pretty high. And there's going to be a lot of schools out there that if they're able to be competitive, they will release the numbers. Like, I firmly believe, I don't know if I don't think BYU did it, but I think it was strategy by somebody when Kevin Young got the contract to play at BYU.
Because it never happened before. Numbers had never
been released, and BYU never released, but somehow what Kevin Young's making got leaked out because I think everybody wanted people to know to some extent what the number was, what BYU was willing to pay. It was a message out there to say, hey, look, we are this committed to basketball at Brigham Young University. And look, I don't hate it. I don't think it's a bad thing at all. And I think this is released just to be a giant middle finger to everybody. And so if, let's say the next team gets a massive jersey patch and it's $18 million, they'll release that. If it's $10 million, they're not going to release that info. They're just not.
Nope. And if it's $700K, it's just going to be, we're doing a patch deal.
Yes. We're very excited to welcome Joe Schmuckatelli Tires.
Details of said agreement will be held private.
And if you show your ticket, you will get an oil change for half off after the next home game.
Like somebody's going to have Pep Boys on there. Manny, Mo, and Jack.
Oh, hey. You know what? All for it.
I mean, are there certain industries that you probably won't throw a patch on? I would imagine that, like,
alcohol,
the Sorsby stuff, right?
Yeah.
Isn't alcohol probably not going to make it?
Yeah.
So we'll see. But I think this is new. But January, came and went, and now we're seeing these announcements. We're seeing the stadium announcements. Just another vehicle to infuse your place with cash so you can pay the piper.
I think UNLV could come up with some interesting corporate sponsors.
Terrible Herbst. Herbs.
Oh yeah, I was thinking more like
Spearmint Rhino.
Yeah, what's that gum? Spearmint. Yeah.
Just have a rhino on there. I don't know if that would pass the muster.
Somebody would probably step in at that point and be like, yeah, well, hey, they're giving us a lot of money.
Rhino patch?
It's just an attitude. That's that, we bring that ferocity to the team.
We lead with our horn.
Yeah. 1045, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. What you may have missed coming up next right here on The Zone.
The best sports radio in Utah is right here, right here. This is Scotty G and the coach, Tim LaComb, on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
How about this? Ohio State's jersey patch will pay more annually than the Clippers, their aspiration deal. I don't know if that counts.
I think that tree's dying.
The Kawhi Leonard jobs. But aspiration was paying $13 million a year. The Cavaliers had Goodyear at $10 million, and the 76ers had StubHub just at $5 million.
Wow. Look at that. Woo. I guess more sports, more exposure, but still.
Yeah.
That is a whale of a deal. And I'm excited. That's one thing, as you said, these will be released if they're good. So they can throw their hat in the pecking order of, hey, we're big. Very big.
We're not messing around here.
I want to be as big as Norman Greenbaum, who just sang Spirit in the Sky. I mean, you don't hear, that's about all he did.
Yeah, no, that was, as far as I know, a one-hit wonder, but it was a hell of a one-hit.
Norman Greenbaum, born 1942.
Wow. Is he still with us?
He is, Norm is still with us. Still with us, a Massachusetts native, 83 years old.
I did a segment, a contest once on the radio that got nixed pretty quick by management, but it was called Dead or Not Dead. And I would list the name of somebody, and they had to choose whether they were alive or dead.
I can see that maybe that would cause some wrinkles.
I thought, look, we'll go get some money, advertising money from Larkin. Come on, we can have ourselves a heck of a time here. And they're like, yeah, no.
I like your vibe though. Your vibe is we got through Monday, and Monday's always a little ominous, but Tuesday you feel like you can roll into the week, and I feel like that's what you're giving us.
That's what I'm trying.
So thank you.
By the way, the updates of coming out on Kyle Shanahan, who was in that car crash. He suffered multiple injuries. And Chris Sims, who was buddies with him back when they were at Texas and roommates, said that Kyle's been part of a horrible accident when you first see it, and it's fresh. Some of the cuts are still wide open. I mean, it's jarring, Sims said. He was this close, and he put his fingers really close together, to maybe losing his right eye. The scar is so big right here. So all that stuff was just crazy to see. And, of course, I was thinking of my friend. But, yeah, it's tough. Sources told ESPN Shanahan also broke his nose, 3 ribs, and his hand, suffered a severe concussion when he collided with an SUV in Palo Alto near his home. Sims said Shanahan is still battling the concussion, which is giving him issues, but the coach knows it could have been a lot worse. All right, so I do have I have a favor to ask of you.
Okay, I'll do my best.
As a close friend and as a co-host, that's the thing. And that's why when I was going through this whole process of going through our new co-host, I wanted not just a co-host, but a brother in arms. I want us to be tight. And so if I get into a car crash, and
I'll do the first 10 minutes,
and I get all banged up and cut up and stuff like that, and my wife starts sending you pictures, I don't necessarily want you to go on and share all of that.
Well, he's got this massive gash.
His gash across his eye. It was disgusting. There was pus coming out of it. It was gross. But all I kept thinking about was my friend Scott. No, that's you just trying to get more attention off of your buddy who's lying in a hospital bed all cut to shreds.
Let me tell y'all, gather around. Let me tell you all about Scotty's ailments. You almost had a real issue. I went for a little walk on Sunday.
Yeah.
Just around my little Murray neighborhood. And I had my pods in, listening to the set list, getting, you can walk down the street and sing really loud and people think you're crazy.
Oh, yeah.
It's fine.
Yeah.
Because they don't know you, and got my hat pulled down, my glasses on. So Sunday morning, went on a walk. I was walking around, and I got to one of those instances where I had to cross, and, there was a car that came up rather fast as I was crossing. It reminded me of the story of Steve Klauke.
Yeah.
And I was out in the middle of the crosswalk, and this car, literally had to slam on its brakes. And I kind of turned and looked. I heard the skid and put my hand down, and my hand was on the car. I mean, that's how close he got to me. So if you're out there driving and you're taking a right, slow the crap down.
Yeah.
I mean, where are you going?
I'm with you, man. I'm with you.
So
it was the right turn that was with Klauke.
Exactly.
Yeah. Because everybody's looking left and not looking right because, the car's coming from the left. Everything's good on the right. They don't pay attention to what's going on the right, where you have pedestrians going who have the green light or the white light, and they're going across the street. And
so that was Sunday. And then to add insult to injury, last night I was taking the trash out and got stung by a bee for the first time in 100 years.
Wow.
And it hadn't happened to me forever. And I got stung right in the ankle. I didn't have socks on. And I'm telling you, still to this second, it's killing me. Swelled up as big as my kneecap.
There was a kid in our ecclesiastical service who just got back from his 2 years.
Okay.
And he was given his homecoming on Sunday. He's fine, so I can share this story. He got hit by a car, not once, but twice on a bike. I was like, you know what? After number one, I'm probably shutting. You have a lot more faith and a lot more I'm probably shutting it down after the first one.
Send me home.
Yeah, I'm good. I
mean, that's merit is discharge. That's what I was seeking. How could I get called home early and be credited with time served?
But after two, and by the way,
don't think for a second. I wasn't thinking that the whole 2 years I was out there.
Yeah, it's like every time you're watching conference, you're like, is this where they're gonna peel it back to 18 months?
Please. Save college sports. It was like waiting for the act. You're just hoping for some serious revelation while you're out there. When my luck would say, we're going to go ahead and make it 3.
Yeah.
Because that's what my father-in-law did. He did 3 years in Denmark.
Jeez.
Can you imagine?
No, not at all. All right, 10:57, kick off your 11 o'clock hour next. Kyle Whittingham lays out his future of college athletics. We'll hear from him next. 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Ladies and gentlemen, the biggest name.
You're locked on to Scotty G and the coach, Tim LaComb, presented by Mountain Land Supply on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Underrated voice, Roy Orbison.
Away.
Let this go a little bit.
It was so sweet.
I love this song.
The Traveling Wilburys consisted of Bob Dylan, George Harrison, Jeff Lynne, Roy Orbison, and Tom Petty. Perhaps the biggest supergroup of all time. It's like the LeBron James Band.
Yeah, it's not even close.
That's why they should call it the LeBron James Band, because you're always looking for a supergroup. Carry your voice.
Wow. Okay. We mentioned that Ohio State had a $17 million a year contract.
Yes, tell me there's more.
Notre Dame just came over the top. They threw the hammer down.
So, oh, really?
Notre Dame announces, and again, I don't know how long of a contract is.
We didn't want this to get out. The Party Hounds, we're doing this.
But the Party Hounds is the patch. It's a deal with SoFi, a 9-figure deal. 9 figures. That's over $100 million for those kids at home.
Are you freaking kidding me?
Now, I don't know what that means. Maybe it's a 10-year deal at $100 million, so it's $10 million per year. We don't know what the per year thing is. So Ohio State's, they're touting that it's $17 million per year. Notre Dame's announcing, well, okay, ours is $100 million or more.
Okay, well, let's see what our next presenter brings.
And it's an all-sports patch, so it goes on all the sports. SoFi, it's a pretty reputable business.
Curious to see what Texas pulls.
Yeah.
Here we go. It's the Patch Wars.
Here we go. Ross Dellinger, some more info. So, yes, it is expected to be the most valuable jersey sponsorship deal in college athletic history with an average of $18 to $20 million annually. So probably about a five-year deal.
How much annually?
18 to 20 million.
So they're above.
So I like how Ohio State makes their announcement an hour. And so Ohio State got a whole 60 minutes to themselves as being the biggest revenue generator on a jersey patch. They had a whole hour in the news cycle as being the big dog. And then Notre Dame goes, that's cute. Here comes SoFi. And we're going to see your 17 million and we're going to go 20. Who's got 21?
21.
Those guys are great, by the way. I love it.
Oh, I wish I could do that.
Yeah.
I really do. I wish I could.
Those guys make money just traveling around the country.
So much.
Oh, yeah.
They get a piece of the action.
Yeah, you're a professional announcer. Whew. Yeah.
But you have to tuck yourself out of a corner. You have to tuck real quick.
I hear 20. Yep.
In the back, right there, 26. Five possible patches I just looked up for Texas. And this is Dell, which is based in Austin. Rico.
Suave.
American Airlines. Can you imagine some? I mean, we're going to see some other big numbers here.
Yeah. That's nuts. It's just crazy how crazy this is.
That lasted an hour. We were enamored for an hour.
Ohio State, you had your moment in the sun. Now it's gone.
And then you were like, I bet if these numbers are big, they're going to release them. Boom. Yep. Notre Dame's like, yes, in fact, we are.
You think there'll be another one by the end of the day?
Yeah. Why not?
Probably.
Why not? Unless, those are two big ones, so it'd have to be somebody with some juice.
Somebody trying to upstage SoFi and J.P. Morgan.
Wonder what Snow College is going to go with this year. What patch?
Oh. You know what? What's a good...
Two Jack's Pizza down there?
Yeah. I'd love it. Absolutely love it. And it's an NIL deal that everybody gets free pizza.
Little Two Jack.
Hey, look, I mean, we're still waiting on Utah's football jersey, right?
Yes.
So, hey, who wants to pony up for Utah?
Did you see there was a little bit of, speaking of all this, there was a little bit of discomfort. I guess Josh Pastner made a comment off the cuff. Go figure. I think everything that dude does is off the cuff.
Yeah. Do you have that audio? I know Jake was playing it on his show yesterday.
I mean, it's pretty good because basically he kind of took the premise, without consulting the president or AD, that the athletic team, that basketball team might be for sale.
Yeah.
You want to own this? Come on in with a big figure. And then I saw Dillingham pleading for $20 million.
Oh, of course, Kenny's going to plead for money. But you know what was really interesting about that? And you know what? There's a lot about Josh Pastner. Like, he's Barnum and Bailey. Like, he's outside.
He's a clown.
He is a clown. But he said some things. But honestly, what he said wasn't off base. He's saying, look, everybody wants to come in here and own the NBA team. When the NBA comes to Vegas, everybody's going to want to own it. Tell you what, you can own UNLV for a lot less. They're looking billions. I'm just looking for $12 million. You give me $12 million, you can be the owner of UNLV basketball. And now the wording probably from a legality standpoint wasn't great. And UNLV had to step in and kind of walk things back a little bit. But honestly, he's not wrong. He's like, look, you want to own UNLV basketball? It can be yours. I'll let you Phil Knight the heck out of it. You want to sit on the sidelines? You want to sit on the charter? You want to come to every practice? You want to be a part of it? Boom, it's yours. Here's Josh Pastner. Here's his comments. And frankly, I don't really disagree with him.
I know a lot of people are trying to become owners of this NBA team coming in 2029. I have told people, why? Buy the college basketball team. It's legal now. You can be the owner of the UNLV Runnin' Rebels men's basketball team, and it's a lot less expensive. You don't have to spend over $1 billion to own our team. I'm asking for $10 to $12 million to own our team, and you still get a great tax write-off, and you can be as involved, and you can tell everyone you're the owner of the team.
I mean, it's dirty and it's kind of filthy, but it's not. I mean, he's just saying what everybody else is thinking. He's just saying it out loud.
Does that come with free parking at the Sphere? So after this all came out, and then the AD was like, "Whoa, let's clarify." Yeah. So Josh came back and said, "I want to clarify my recent comments regarding support." Change that word. Support for the UNLV men's basketball program. The Run and Rebs are not for sale, and my reference to an owner was meant to highlight the level of resources, sponsorships, and overall support needed to compete in today's evolving college athletics landscape, not to suggest that anyone could actually own the program.
Yeah.
So I mean, he made his point. Yeah. Got a couple articles written.
And, he did exactly what he wanted to do. He got the word out there, and now he's come back and goes, you know what? I've had a couple people already about this. Like, okay, he's got everybody knocking down his door. If you want to be a part of it, you better get in quickly.
I've come into contact with a lot of people that have the type of money that could do something like this. And, the drummer in the Party Hounds, for one, I asked him because he's got this crazy amount of money. He's a Texas grad. And when NIL kind of came onto the scene, I said to him, is that something you donate to Texas and give them money? And he's like, no, it's the worst investment in the world. Why would you do that?
Yeah.
And and I started to think, okay, maybe for a year you puff your chest out.
Oh, yeah.
But it's a pretty expensive chest puffing, amount. And so that comes to the whole idea of donor fatigue, which I think we're starting to get into a teeny bit. People are starting to say, and unless it was the cookie guy, he's always up for
cookie guy
throwing money around.
Yeah.
But other than
Captain
that,
Cookie.
Captain Cookie. Oh, somebody needs a fine paid? Here, what do you need?
Will you accept payment in form of cream cheese frosting? Which, by the way, is delightful. I love those cookies. I'm not even hating on them.
I will give you 12 free new cookies every month.
You get
it, the deal.
And you get to choose one of the cookies every week when the new ones. I know a lot of people hate on that place. I actually kind of like it.
I don't hate it. But I hate all the posture.
Oh yeah, I do too. But it just goes to show where, so I've talked to donors that have given money for NIL because they want their teams to be competitive, and then he goes, and then I'm on Instagram, and you follow these guys and you feel personally invested because you're personally investing in them. And then you see, a guy got a new grill or they're taking a vacation to Barbados and you're like, that's my money. And it's a weird feeling. Like these kids, and he's like, the kid can spend the money any way he wants. Like he's getting paid. And so, it's up to you to spend your discretionary income any way you want. But he goes, it just sat weird with me to see this crazy diamond-encrusted necklace with his number on it. And
saw a couple of those.
Barbados and all of these things. He's like, I'm actually footing the bill for that. That's my money. And I think in his mind, he thought, okay, I'm going to give him this money. He's going to put it in a Roth. It's going to sit and collect. And when he turns 65, he's going to cash out and he's going to have a comfortable life. I think that's what a lot of these guys are thinking. In reality, they see these dudes driving crazy vehicles and living life like any 18 to 22-year-old would if they got thrown a ton of money at them very quickly. I would do the same. Coach, I don't know. You're an old soul. You'd probably be a little bit more responsible than us.
Oh yeah, I mean, I would share.
Yeah, but honestly, we would all do it. But the realization of that's my money. I know that's chasing away a lot of people. It's like, I did it a couple of years, but I'm not seeing, as you mentioned, the ROI on it.
Yeah, it is seriously. It's just intrinsic. It's like I did that, and there's a reason people do it, I guess. Be like Jeremiah Smith, Ohio State wide receiver, who his valuation on NIL is $5 million, which is the fourth highest valuation in all of college sports, tied with other Big Ten star Dante Moore from Oregon. His first big purchase with his NIL valuation.
Mom.
He bought his grandmother.
Oh, grandma.
He bought his grandmother's house for his mom to live in.
Love it.
And I love that.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't mind the necklaces and stuff, but that's something that, that's a very good thing.
And by the way, I don't either. Like I said, I would buy frivolous stuff too at that age. I just know that some people are like, wait a minute. And it's just, you hate to be judgmental, but I think some of these guys are like, wait, that's like, and then you become really angry when that player doesn't perform, which again isn't fair because not all of us have great days at the office. You and I hope to have a couple good shows a week, maybe one bad show, and then everything else we just try to cobble it together and be great as much as we can. But we're not great all the time. And so if you personally gave money to a kid and that kid doesn't play up to your level of expectations, it's hard not for you to feel like, oh, that was money down the drain. Ugh. Can't give him all this money and he's spending all this crap and he's not even playing well.
Can't make a shot.
And that's not fair to the kid.
Right.
And it's not fair to the program. It's not fair to anybody, but also that's human nature to kind of feel that way too.
Totally. Absolutely. And it's just it's the new era. I said this a bunch, but 2019 was just 7 years ago and you couldn't buy a guy a granola bar.
Yeah.
And now you got guys with the money you're giving them buying their mom a house. I mean, it's wild how fast everything's gotten to this point.
Yeah. And the other element to it too is you to go from 7 years to a guy saying our program is for sale. You can buy UNLV basketball. Ready, go. So Kyle Whittingham had some thoughts. He's hanging out with Rich Eisen, and he breaks down what he thinks the future of college athletics looks like.
I think it's got to be an NFL minor league model where we have a salary cap, and the players are employees. I think as distasteful as some of that is, I don't think there's any other way that is better than that. And right now it's out of control. I mean, we're going to have probably a dozen teams in the next recruiting cycle with $50 million rosters, and there's such a disparity between the haves and the have-nots. And I think that the only way to get that evened out and level the playing field is to go ahead and pattern it after an NFL, like I said, a minor league NFL model and a super league, if you will, and you'll probably see 48 to 60 teams survive the cut and be on the right side of the line in the sand and proceed forward.
So again, he's looking at that breakaway model.
It's what he's been talking about forever.
Forever. I mean, years Kyle Whittingham's been talking about
And now he's
this.
got a spot.
Yeah.
Like he's at the table.
And I think that was appealing to him, too. Like, I don't want to go to bed at night worrying, am I going to wake up tomorrow, the world changes, and I'm back at a Mountain West Conference level and a Mountain West Conference budget. Like, I can't handle that. Now he knows that he's at a blue blood. And when he says we're going to have $50 million rosters, that's Kyle Whittingham knowing that he, in fact, is going to have a $50 million roster because Michigan is not going to get outspent on a roster. Like, there is too much money involved. So when Kyle starts throwing numbers around, just know those are going to be very accurate because he, in fact, is going to be with the program that's going to lead the way in that regard.
And you think about, like, when NIL started, everybody, like, the numbers everybody's talking about were in the 100,000s.
Yes.
Right? So if you take all your players and you pay them, in that range, you're nowhere near $50 million. But that's how fast this thing's, it's just, bam, it's gone.
And he mentioned 20 to 30% increase every year.
Because I heard at one point $20 million, but I don't think we're that far away from $100 million rosters unless we figure something out.
Yeah. And again, he says it's not sustainable. He's right. Even at Michigan, it's not sustainable, but will the market kind of balance itself out? Like, it's like, hey, you know what? We've given you this money. We're not giving you anymore. We can't. Like, I'm capped. It's like, you talk about billionaires in the NBA. The one thing that finally got their attention was this second apron because even billionaires are like, that's way too much money.
What did you say Denver was going to pay?
Denver right now is $68 million in penalties.
Penalties.
Just in penalties, which means they'll be shedding money like crazy during the offseason or during the regular season. So even billionaires they have their number.
And the money that's spent like over the second apron, that money then is distributed to the other teams, correct?
Correct.
So they're basically in deciding to bring Spencer Jones back for 6, and they'll change. I mean, they're going to adjust, I would imagine, because they're nowhere near winning one. But if they went through that, then they would basically be giving $68 million to their competitors.
Yeah. Yep. Right. Spread out to probably 10 to 14 teams.
Pretty crazy.
I I just.
But I like the idea of a cap.
I do
in
too.
college.
Oh, I do too.
Definitely
Absolutely.
need it. And I'm not for one that needs to be. I mean, make it realistic, but one that hey, we can operate here and keep it here. We're not going to continue to 20 million, 30, 50, 100. Right? You got to be able to lock it in.
I think I've told you this story. It was Danny Sprinkle's year at Utah State. So that was 3 years ago. So 3 years ago in November, we're in the Cayman Islands at a basketball tournament. And Andy Hill, you know Andy very well.
Great, yeah.
Andy Hill's on that staff with Danny Sprinkle.
Right.
And this is the whole NIL thing had been turned upside down. And they had lost Stephen Ashworth, who went to Creighton. And by the way, Stephen, we should call Stephen and get him on because he's really great at breaking down this stuff. Stephen got, I think, want to say like $150,000.
Yeah, because they slotted every person the same.
They did, and McDermott did a great job with it. But I talked to Andy and I said, "All right, what do you need to be competitive in the Mountain West Conference? Like per year for the team." Right now, what do you have to be competitive? Off the air, just tell me, just between us. He goes, if we had if we could get 600,000 every year, we'd be competitive. We'd be right there at the top of the conference. That was less than 3 years ago.
And now there's two guys making more than that?
Two guys combined making over $3 million on Utah State's roster.
Right.
And I don't know I don't know exactly.
Right.
I'm
But
kind of
that's-
guessing
yeah.
based on market values and stuff like that. But I mean, that just shows you how escalated and how quickly things got out of control.
Because if you've paid $3 for two guys ish, the rest of your roster, you're looking at $4 to $5 million now and that's on the cheap, right? Like it's insane. When you figure what AJ pulled down last year and what their salary cap with AJ would have been, you can see where it could go crazy quick. So guardrails, salary cap. I like the way Kyle's talking.
But the more I hear about it, the more I think about it. I was dead wrong last week. I think the SEC and the Big 12, when we say that they'll break away, we're not just talking about them taking their 16 and 18 teams and forming one conference. It means that they're going to break away and then pillage everybody else that they want from everybody else.
Around a 40-something or 50, somewhere in that range.
Yep.
So everybody's going to be trying to get their patch in order and everything else to be as appealing as possible to make the cut.
And BYU and Utah are going to do everything they possibly can to position themselves so when that does happen, if that happens, but you and I think when that happens, that those two schools are going to be like, okay, we've got our revenue in line. This is what we've got. That's why Utah went out and got the private equity. They needed that money.
They have to because, again, your donor base can give so much. You can count on some of that. And sometimes there'll be a unique gift. But, Utah's in a spot where this has been going on for a while. You're knocking on the same doors. And it's hard to pull money out of people, when they see at the end of the day that, what am I really doing here?
All right, 11:24, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. A little good, the bad, the ugly. Coming up next, Lloyd Cole, shockingly, is on vacation. We will chat with him.
That's the ugly.
That's the ugly.
And the good.
Lloyd doesn't want to hang out with us anymore.
And the good.
And the good.
For
the good
us.
for you, yes. This is 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
It's time to saddle up and talk about the winners and the losers. This is the good, the bad, and the ugly. Now, here's the good.
It is your good, it is your bad, it is your ugly, right here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. All right, as you look across the NFL, the Philadelphia Eagles can breathe a big sigh of relief because Jalen Carter isn't going anywhere. The Eagles signing the two-time Pro Bowl selection to a, wait for it, 4-year, $152 million contract extension, worth up to 160, and about 110 of it is guaranteed. It is he is the highest paid defensive tackle in NFL history. making about $38 million per year. He's 25 years old. He's been to the Pro Bowl the last 2 years. Last year, 13.5 sacks, 37 quarterback hits, and 108 tackles in his first 3 seasons.
That dude's a menace. He's an absolute menace.
Really is.
So they're paying him like a menace.
As they should. Look, if you've got a kid out there that's playing football, and he's like, Dad, I want to go to the NFL. I want to be a running back. Tell him, nope. Running backs don't last long in the NFL. They don't actually make that much money in the NFL because they're interchangeable. They'll wear you right into the ground after 2 or 3 years and then kick you to the curb. I saw a thing on Twitter that popped up like, hey, remember Arian Foster? It's like, yeah, I remember that guy with the Texans. And he was the best player in the league for like 2 years and then disappeared. I mean, they will churn and burn through running backs like nothing. If you can, though, have your kid be either a quarterback, either a left tackle, or a defensive end or a defensive tackle.
That's where the money is.
That's where the money is. Like, if you've got a kid who's 6'5", can really put on the beef, is a monster in the weight room, has got quick feet, say, we're going to move you to left tackle, son, and we're going to get you making some money. Because those guys can not only make crazy money, but they can be in the league for a long time.
You ever seen The Blind Side, kid?
Yeah, there you go. And then you can sue us afterwards for putting you in a movie and making you even more money.
So right now, that's everybody that doesn't have a deal is fighting to get one. I just read, and this could be bad, I guess. Should we make it bad?
Yeah, let's go ahead.
Now the bad.
I guess this is bad if you are a Tampa Bay Buccaneers fan. You know, you wear a patch and reside in a ship.
Yes.
Baker Mayfield is reporting to training camp. That's good news, but he does not have a new deal in hand. So they're still working on that. Sources told ESPN that Mayfield and his agent have not made significant progress on the Bucs on a new contract. A deal is largely not expected by the start of Bucs' first practice, which is July 29th. Is that tomorrow?
That is tomorrow. By the way, everybody is reported in training camp. NFL is here, folks.
I'm so pumped.
I'm
my first
beyond
year
excited.
Watching it, playing fantasy football and all that good stuff, but sitting here and talking about it too.
You know, I have not played fantasy football in years.
What you're looking at here is a 2-time league champion and coming off a league championship last year.
Should we do a station one?
I think we should. That would be actually really fun because we could rib Lloyd.
I get a little concerned because
competition?
Not necessarily competition, but
I just know you won't fill out your dang roster.
Yeah, I might have the auto draft.
Baker hasn't signed yet, but I've got him at quarterback. Hopefully that deal gets done.
I just hand it over to Brody, let him run it.
Yeah, I had a year of years last year, so 2 champs for me in a 6-year span.
Look at you go. Baker Mayfield is a hell of a quarterback. I love Baker Mayfield. I loved him in college. I love the planting the flag down and all the crap stirring that he did at the collegiate level.
I love the ads in Brown when he had the Brown Stadium as his house.
And look, he got Cleveland respectable, and then they kicked him to the curb. Like, nobody wins in Cleveland. He got him close. And then no, we don't think you have it anymore. And then he could have been had for a song. Anybody could have had him. The Rams throw him a lifeline. He has some spot work there, does well. Tampa Bay goes, and now he's killing it again. I think the guy, yeah, absolutely. Hold out, get your money, because the NFL's already shown you they will throw you to the curb so fast. Like some of these holdouts, I'm like, it's probably not in your best interest. Baker, go get your money, man. Go get it.
His pay ranks 16th among quarterbacks.
Yes.
And he's averaging about $33 million a year. I know that sounds like a lot, but that's tough to live on in these days. Have you seen the price of gas?
In this economy?
Sources also said that Mayfield isn't afraid of playing out this season under his current deal. He has 1 year left, so he's looking for an extension. But he would prefer if he could get some ink on a new deal.
Yeah, well, there's a little bit of security there. But essentially what he's saying is, you know what? I'll bet on myself, and then I'll hit the open market, and you guys
won't afford me.
Can't afford me, or I will, or you're really going to have to pay. You want a little bit of a discount? Sign me an extension now. If you really want to pay me, you're going to have to, or we'll do it at the end of the year. Then you'll have to overpay to keep me because I have a long memory.
And I think that's his thought. If he has to play this year and just go do what he does again, And then next year will be fun for him. He'll be fielding offers.
Yes. But the problem is you take a helmet to the knee and you shred an ACL, you're SOL.
So Mayfield is not alone. Nose tackle Vita, a member of the franchise Super Bowl winning team, recently requested a trade because he has not been able to get a deal done.
That is interesting because he has requested a trade, according to multiple reports. Tampa Bay's not going to trade him. I should be careful there. I don't think they're going to trade him, but that would cause a stir very quickly if he's no longer a member of that team next year.
6'4", 347.
That dude is a menace.
Man, oh man. And it's back to full circle. We talked about a quarterback, and we talked about another defensive tackle.
D-tackle.
That's where the money is, yeah.
Go get that money. Absolutely. All right, there's your bad. Let's get to the ugly.
And, of course, the ugly.
So if you're the San Francisco 49ers, and we talked a little bit about Kyle Shanahan and the issues that he's dealing with, and really, first off, he needs to just focus in on himself. Chris Sims, his college buddy, mentioned that, he's beat up really bad. His face is cut up, the gashes. He went into explicit details, which I'm sure Kyle Shanahan's like, bruh, can you not tell everybody that my face is all cut up?
When I'm ready to talk?
Can I be the one to talk about this, for crying out loud?
My wife?
Yeah, exactly. But he's going to try to get back into training camp and back with the team. I know you feel a little bit responsible there and you want to get back. This is one that I think the team will be like, you know what? Take your time. We'll be all right. And when you're the head coach and you got your OC, I know Kyle Shanahan calls plays, but let your OC take over for camp. You're going to be just fine. Let's just pump the brakes a little bit. You don't have to go back and work those 100-hour weeks immediately.
We know that you got it. We know that you got it, and I pray he's better quick. So glad that he's healthy, relatively, and that he didn't lose an eye. I mean, it's a scary proposition, but just 2 days in a row now, we've got some major mayhem in a couple different places. Kansas City, we talked about yesterday with Bieniemy's son, shooting his wife, and then today, this story a little bit more about Shanahan. So they'll be in and out of training camp, but both of them could have been way worse. Good thing that it is just what it is.
40 stitches across his face, according to Chris Sims.
Wow. He was cut up.
40 stitches. He's going to look like Frankenstein out there.
Yeah. What's the Jack Skellington?
Yeah. You know what? I don't think anybody's going to blame you if you take your sweet time coming back on that one. And frankly, I don't know if anybody really wants to see you on the sidelines right now based on that.
Chris Sims could we could put a bag over his head and Chris could just stand next to him and give us play-by-play.
Yeah, I think
right cheek's healing.
I think that's what Chris wants is maybe he's like, look, I'll take over the team while you're gone. I'm going to tell everybody how bad a shape you're in. And then, you know what? If you need somebody to be on the sideline, call the timeouts, give a little pep talk, I'm your guy.
I've been doing this a while. I'm confident in my ability to broadcast.
Yeah. Hey, ultimately, though, back to the good, training camps have all begun.
That is the best news because we're going to start getting snippets to talk about every day. When training camp begins, we're going to talk about, 4 or 5 amazing throws that Fernando makes.
Oh, jeez.
In Raiders camp. And Stidham's up, got a big season ahead of him.
You see Fernando posing with Darryn Peterson?
Darn straight. I did.
Darryn doesn't need to get that Raider stink on him.
We'll make sure he showers before he comes in studio.
Oh, man. Yeah, so that's it's a pretty bad deal. Bad deal with Kyle Shanahan. You hope certainly the best for him. And you'd love to get him back on the sidelines, but I don't think anybody's going to be too upset with that.
If he recovers, it's fine to recover.
Hey, shout out to the Florida Marlins, by the way. They finally won a game. They snapped a 12-game losing streak. 12 games in a row they'd lost. You talk about your Red Sox.
Yeah, I'm still sore.
What was that number? Got up to 15?
It was 15 until you guys started popping off. And then Lloyd texted me because they won the next day, and he said, they just got to win 15 more, and you'll get to your 16. That's the kind of guy Lloyd is.
See, That's it. When Lloyd knows that there's something that gets you, he just pries, just
leans in hard,
just keeps jabbing, jab.
We talked about North Carolina yesterday,
yes,
and their issue that they have going on with a support staff member, Alabama. Yeah, Mike. Alabama's NIL content director was arrested for a human trafficking sting. So this is another big school with a guy hanging around. He was in charge of the NIL content, and he was one among 15 men arrested in a trafficking sting that he took part in.
Good job cleaning up the details there.
I mean, some money changed hands.
I could
blah,
see,
blah, blah, yada, yada, yada.
I could see the wheels spinning there like, okay, yeah, this is ugly.
That's where you go, yada, yada, yada. And now he will not be with Alabama anymore.
Good. That's all I can say about that. I hope if he is in fact guilty of this, I hope there's a deep hole in the ocean that they can drop him into.
Yes. Alabama has no longer housed Mr. Suttles on their staff page. So I would be safe to assume that the transaction was what it was, and he is no longer employed.
So I told you I saw that movie, The Odyssey, and when the Florida Marlins actually won their game, the manager said, "I feel a bit like Odysseus, who's the main character."
Hey, I do my literary stuff.
He goes, "Like I'm away from home for 10 years. At some point, I'm going to return home. I don't know what basketball god I infuriated, but it's where we're at today. It is a possibility." That's after the Marlins blew their big lead in the 6th inning, leading to their 12th loss in a row. And Clayton McCulloch is the one who said that and said, "Hey, look, I think I am Odysseus, and I am cursed by the baseball gods." I know that you feel like sometimes guys can get a little bit superstitious. On a losing skid, would you change socks or?
Oh, absolutely. If I lost in a tie, it was gone. Did not wear a losing tie again.
Really? So there were never any repeats of ties that you suffered a loss in?
Correct.
Wow.
Yeah, those things were put on ice, and we kept with the winning ties. And you'd maybe get 2 or 3 out before you got on a hot streak with one.
So if you won like 4 in a row with the same tie, and then...
I mean, I wouldn't keep wearing it.
No.
That's a winner.
Yeah.
I'll come back to it when I want.
Yeah. But as soon as that tie lost, it was gone.
Gone.
Okay. So it could win. It could have been in the rotation, won a bunch of games.
Right.
But as soon as it was, you're out.
Out.
You're going to DI.
Yep. I had a big old line of ties and a good friendship with the boys at the clothing store down there. And
shout out
to the Double M,
Mr. Mack.
And so, they took care of me, but I would not. So I got very superstitious, even down to suits. I wouldn't throw suits away, but if they lost, they'd go in the cooler for at least a month. I couldn't go back to that guy.
They go in the back of the closet.
But now it's just, wear sweats. That would have been much more my speed.
That's I had a coach tell me that's the only good thing that came out of COVID for coaches is that everybody ditched the suits.
It was always the weirdest thing to walk into an athletic event as a coach and you're dressed as though you're going to a wedding and you're sweating and it's uncomfortable. So yes, that was an awesome move. I think the next best thing would be coaches having to wear the uniform in basketball, the tank top and shorts.
I think you had a former boss that may not have been overly. People wouldn't have been overly excited about that.
Nah, yeah, Rick wouldn't have liked that.
Yeah.
What? Can I just wear my sweater and shorts?
I'll wear the shorts.
Oh.
So, okay. I think I asked you this the other day. How many sweaters were in rotation?
2.
2. That's it.
2.
Did you get the cleaning bill on that one, or the cleaning responsibility?
I would. It was Red Hanger Cleaners on Foothill Boulevard.
Okay, so you didn't put it in the washer, but you took it down
to the cleaners, and then I pick it up and drop it off at the hotel for them. That was my job for a year.
And it was Red Hanger?
Yep, right there on Foothill. You pass it right when you get on there on the right, about 17th-ish.
Was it
13th?
Was it Reebok you guys were with? Was it Reebok?
We were with Reebok.
Yeah.
So he had those. So before the Reebok sweaters, he wore these 2 like J. Crew sweaters. He had an olive and a tan. And I told a story that we left one in a hotel.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
And he was superstitious. So if he wore the beige one and we won back then, he'd want the beige one again. And we left it in Colorado, Fort Collins. So I called hotel, overnighted it. And like I said to the lady, is there a sweater there? I don't know. Let me check. And I'm like, okay, maybe looks more like an awning. And she's like, yeah, it's right here. So I got it in a very large package the next day. I zipped over because it was like we'd play Wednesday, Saturday, something like that. And so I zipped it over to the cleaners. It was a day late, but I got it at the hotel, and he had it on for game day. And that actual story's in his book, My Life on a Napkin by Gene Wojciechowski.
Oh,
if you haven't
okay.
read that, it's a great book. And Gene called me out of the blue. He's like, I hear you've got great Rick stories. So we talked for a couple hours, and he used about 3 or 4 of the excerpts.
So did Rick know that it was lost?
No, he had no idea.
So when he finally got it, did you tell him, boy, this thing's been through? No, you just kept your mouth shut the whole time.
Yeah, you wanted him to think you were on it. I mean, I certainly wasn't, but in his mind, I had to be.
Yeah. That's a lot of pressure.
It was pressure. Like that one, I don't know that I've ever been more scared because I had a day job. So I sprinted to the airport, from the airport to my day job. I'm sitting at the desk, and I'm like, calling the hotel. And I'm like, just please tell me you have it. Because I'm looking, okay, do I need to go buy another one? And what size was it?
Yeah.
That kind of thing.
It's like, if you have a kid and their pet dies and you try to find another fish or something like that, it's the same kind. Like, probably is not going to work. You're probably going to catch it.
One of the cooler times, it was the time that I actually hung with him for a couple of days. And he said to me, I could never tell you this while I was kicking your ass, but you're as good as I've ever had. You're as good a manager as ever. But it was like 3 years later.
Yeah.
Because he couldn't tell you while you're doing it.
No.
And you'd rest on your laurels. He said I'm doing a good job.
Yeah. Woo. Yeah. I got to imagine there's some of you guys came out of that with a little PTSD.
Oh, there's no question we have it. And when we all get together, I mean, there's guys all over the country that were part of this thing, either here or in St. Louis, prior, after.
Yeah.
The 2 days at USC. all those guys, and we've all got stories. So it's really fun when we get. In fact, we ought to do a show one day and get some streams. Get Keith
Van
and Andre.
Horn.
Just have a whole 4-hour show about that guy.
I think I've told this on the air. I know I've mentioned it off the air a bunch of times, but the Jazz had this preseason dinner with the coaches in the front office and the broadcast crew. And that's when we were more involved in the play-by-play broadcast. And so all of us were there at this dinner, and Quinn. No. It was, I can't remember if it was Quinn or Tyrone, but either way, Alex Jensen was on staff. And we're sitting around a table, and Britton Johnson, who was doing pre-half and post at the time, Britton's there, and Alex just starts talking about, Rick was hard. It was tough dealing with. And Britton just drops his fork and looks at him and is like, bro, you were the golden child. Don't tell me, of all people, about how hard Rick was. You don't get the right, Britton never gets mad. And I don't think he was really that mad, but he was like, he's like, we need to set the record straight, Alex. 2 of us played for him. One of us had it bad, and it wasn't you.
I remember one time in a practice, it was actually before Al went on his mission. It was his freshman year. And you talk about guys that come in ready-made, plug and play. Like, he just knew how to play. And from a young age, was really advanced. And so Rick loved it. Like, he was a talker. He talked out on the floor. He's a great communicator. He'd take on physicality, throw himself into tough situations. And he was skilled offensively. He's a good player. He was the player of the year in the league, right? So, but this is a freshman, and Rick just fell in love with everything about Al. And so one day he stops practice. He's like, Al, I see what you're thinking there. And, I love you so much. If you're a woman, I'd marry you. But, when you go to block out, but he would always, that's how he got on Al, is he would correct him with love. And one time Al wasn't talking good enough. He had his mission call. He's going to England. And a screen came, and Al didn't communicate it and navigate it right, and Rick stops everything. And he's like, Al, in order to convert people, you will have to talk. He's like, you're going to look pretty stupid if you knock on the door and you say, hey, we're here with the church, and then just stare at them. I mean, you're not going to get any converts that way. So that was the way he went after Al.
So yeah, that was the hard stuff.
That was the hard stuff. And in Britton, it was just like, Britton, I've seen that crap shake about 17 times. Just pass the ball. He was always ripping on Britton's flair.
Oh, poor Britton. 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Coming up, hey, guess who's going to join the program? This might be the last time he's able to join the program, but the great Tony Jones will join us coming up at 12:05 right here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Order for Jennifer C.
Is this my double shot, double cream, double froth, double pump, double whip, double sleeve?
Yeah. Can you handle that much caffeine?
Did you know Discover automatically doubles all the cash back you've earned at the end of your first year?
Oh, really? That's great.
Seriously, did you know Discover automatically doubles all the cash back you've earned at the end of your first year?
Yeah, you just said that.
Did you say I just said that?
Yeah, I'm cutting you off.
I can't have any more? Why not?
You earn, we match. Discover Cashback Match. See terms at discover.com/creditcard.
The Jazz, the Mammoth, and the Utes, Cougars, and Aggies. When it comes to sports in Utah, we've got you covered. This is Scotty G and the coach, Tim LaComb, presented by Mountain Land Supply on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Yeah, brown-eyed girl. She's my... brown-eyed girl. Do you remember when? Hey, there's... I think the playlist is going to take a sharp turn coming up to the next because I think this one's left over from last week.
I'm excited to see the jump.
All right, so coming up, Tony Jones is going to join us at 12:05. Then we'll continue our tour around teams that we're looking forward to seeing. We'll get to Bill Bender, who joins us from the Sporting News, get his thoughts on what's going on in the world of college athletics and college football. They just had a college football playoff prediction with the Sporting News. You ready for this?
I am so ready.
The number 1 seed, Indiana. All right, fine.
Try harder.
Georgia 2, Notre Dame 3. Wait a minute, is this last year's? Did they just do last year's? Look at our college predictions for the 26-27. This looks like exactly like last year's. So Indiana 1, Georgia 2, Notre Dame 3, Ohio State 4, Texas 5, Oregon 6. Then you got Miami 7, Ole Miss 8, Oklahoma 9, USC 10, BYU coming in at 11.
They'll finish higher than USC.
And then Boise State at 12 as the G5 representative.
I'm with Jake on the Stinkin' Riley train.
Are you?
That's what he calls him, yeah.
The Stinkin' Riley?
Yeah. I think he's just more of a hype than anything else.
USC seems to find those hype guys where it's like, hey, you got to have somebody with some substance. Like, they always find the all hat, no horse guy. You got to find somebody that's got some meat that can actually get you the job done.
Absolutely.
He can win the press conference all he wants. That's great. But at the end of the day, you got to have a guy that can flat out coach. And USC just doesn't seem to put that as a priority as they should. But we'll talk to Bill Bender coming up at 1:05, get his thoughts on the upcoming college football season, and if he thinks that we'll actually get some legislation done. There's a lot of people that think we might be getting close to that. I'm not quite sure if that's the case, but it does seem like there's a level of optimism there that we have not seen in quite some time.
That'll be one thing we talked to Bill about. Bend his ear, pardon the pun. Be an ear bender. This is one thing I just saw that I want to bring up since we have a couple minutes. 2026 top 25 in the NBA under 25.
Okay.
And this was a poll that was put out, over 305,000 votes from the community. So this is pretty interesting. At number 1, no surprise, the freak, the alien, not the freak, Victor Wembanyama. 2, Cooper Flagg. 3, Dylan Harper. 4, A.J. DeBonsa. 5,
wow, already.
5, Darryn Peterson. The Jazz in the top 25 have 3 players voted top 25 under 25. And so Peterson's 5. Keontae George is 20, and Ace Bailey's 21. But that's, man, good sign, good young talent.
I really think that you're going to see everybody on week 1 look at Darryn Peterson, and Ace Bailey's going to go out and score 25.
We were talking about that a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
But, yeah, he's got it. There's no question he's got it in him. And the way he finished last year, there were nights where he'd do a couple things, and it was like, man, that turnaround jumper looked just like Carmelo in his prime. He's just doing things like that. So I'm excited that with an off season, he's stronger. A little disappointing in the summer, got injured in Vegas, but played well in Salt Lake. And so when he hits the ground running, I would not be surprised if in game 1 he's your leading scorer. That wouldn't surprise me at all.
No. And look, honestly, there's a world that exists out there where 4 or 5 years from now, Ace Bailey is the face of the franchise, not Darryn Peterson.
Well, and that's what we talked about. Like pre-draft, you want the guy that you draft in this draft, you want to be in 3 to 5 years. That's the guy you want to have leading things.
Yeah.
The face of the program, your best player. And I certainly believe that, out of the gates without playing a game, people think he's in that top 5. That's 305,000 votes. So just to put it in perspective, last year's result, number 5, was Cade Cunningham. So he's in very, very good company. And I know there was some comments. There was actually, I can't remember the national writer, but they did a little recap on Summer League and said, listed Darryn as one of the disappointments of Summer League.
Oh, I saw that. That was ridiculous.
And to
Should
me,
the Jazz be worried?
And to me, I just go back to he was guarded different than everybody else in that league, in the entire Summer League. Teams saw what he did here. They did a great job of just trying to make him a passer. And he's a good enough player, but a good enough teammate as well. 1 or 2 on the ball, he got rid of it. Didn't force things. So I have zero concern. That was much more about the way he was guarded. But I think he showed just fine.
Tony Jones joins us next. High noon up and down the Wasatch Front. This is 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Accessing.
The best radio in Utah is right here. This is Scotty G and the coach, Tim LaComb, on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
All right, folks, let's get it. 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. This might be the very last time this man makes an appearance on this radio station because here in the next, even now, this man's life will revolve around the whims of one LeBron James as Tony Jones from The Athletic, covering the Philadelphia 76ers, longtime Salt Lake City resident, kind enough to join us. TJ, how you doing?
This will not be the last time I'm on this show.
You're going to have laundry to pick up, bro.
Let's just not be dramatic. Come on now.
Oh, man. When I saw that news, I was like, oh, my first thought was, Tony, I love you, buddy. My prayers are for you. I got you.
Dude, it's actually pretty awesome, right? It is a lot. It's going to be a lot of work. But why is everything always about you, Tony?
It'll be a lot of work, and it'll be, listen, I don't think there's a secret that LeBron James is my favorite basketball player ever. So it's going to be, I'm going to take the next 2 months to work on my professionalism. And then, and then I'm going to be ready to go. But I will repeat, the lengths that I will go to make time for you guys will always be studied. So this will not be the last time I'm on.
I love it, man.
In the annals of history, man.
We appreciate that. The thing is, Philadelphia had a good roster. They had, I think Mike Gansey might be the executive of the year, and he hasn't even been with the team for a single regular season game yet.
Executive of the year off of
Paul George
1 month. That's the whole thing.
Yeah.
If you look at this, if you look at this off season, and you look at what Gansey and Jameer Nelson, because Jameer Nelson's had a really big part in this. If you look at what those two guys have done, not only did they get the big stuff right, like obviously the Jaylen Brown trade, and then, LeBron, I don't want to say falls in their laps because they really worked on the recruitment of him. But they got the small stuff right. They kind of stole Anthony Simons from the Miami Heat. That he was supposed to go to Miami, and Jameer pulled off a really, really good recruiting job to get Anthony to sign with the Sixers. And, and Dean Wade, that was Gansey all the way because those two had a relationship headed back to Cleveland. KCP is LeBron, so we got to give LeBron credit, KCP. But if you look at those two ways, Gansey and Jamil signed Caleb Love and Ryan Rupert, both the two ways. Both of those guys played real NBA minutes last year. Caleb Love for Portland. We know Caleb Love because he played for Arizona. And Ryan Rupert from Memphis. He had a 30-point triple-double in Memphis back in March. So, all up and down the roster, they weren't real. There was a dearth of real NBA players through the depth parts of the roster last year when it came to the Sixers, and they've got real NBA players and real NBA rotation players up and down the roster this year.
What have you been able to glean from the recruiting process and kind of what it went into it? I know LeBron had made comments about things that were important to him, but the way I look at this, I mean, this was his best chance to win for sure.
Well, Joel Embiid promised LeBron that he'd be in shape.
There you go.
That happened. And I'm sure the Sixers fans are now like, so what about the other 11 years? But, that's neither here nor there. That's a conversation for another day.
Yeah.
We had it yesterday.
Yeah, exactly. So there was that. But listen, LeBron has been long fond of Tyrese Maxey and vice versa. Those two guys, have worked out for a long time with the same trainer, Chris Johnson. They actually got a workout in yesterday together, and they have been not really talking about playing together because it really didn't seem like it was an obvious thing that would happen. But there's the clutch connection with them as well as with Nick Nurse, obviously KCP. But Tyrese Maxey has been somebody that LeBron has admired for a long time, and I can see LeBron, using Maxey the way that he did, 10 years ago with Kyrie Irving when they were with Cleveland. So, I think that LeBron will be good for Tyrese, and I think that Tyrese will be good for LeBron. And I think that, when you look at Tyrese last year and you watched him last year, yeah, he had a great season, but he was doing it with, teams, really keyed into stopping him. And he's going to have space in, people drawing gravity away from him this year, kind of like he hasn't had in a few years.
So Miami's Miami. It's, a gorgeous place to play, especially if you're wealthy. You got the weather, the city of Miami. You've got the nostalgia factor of Cleveland. Philadelphia look, it's not the best city to live in terms of weather. It has no real emotional connection. It's, I guess, somewhat close to New York, so I guess you can talk about some ties to the Big Apple. But other than that, this seems like it was just about winning for LeBron.
Yeah, the Sixers had the best roster and the best chance for him to win. The only other roster that gave him that kind of chance to win, in my opinion, would have been Minnesota. We all know he wasn't going to Minnesota.
No.
He is not dragging that documentary crew to Minneapolis. So, I think we all said it, and we were still surprised, but we all said it. Like, listen, LeBron is actually serious about winning a championship. He's saying this is about winning a championship and about what his best chance of winning is. It's Philadelphia. Miami's roster is incomplete. Davion Mitchell is the point guard. I love Off Night like a brother, but he's a middling starting point guard. They have a lack of shooting, and then Cleveland has James Harden. And I know LeBron ain't trying to hitch his wagon to James Harden. So if it were about winning, it was Philadelphia. And even under that, guys, I think we were all still shocked that he actually chose Philadelphia because we really underestimated just how much it was about winning. Turned out to be 100% about winning. I thought it was like, hey, 50, 60% winning, couple of percentages where your family wants to live, nostalgia, maybe the opportunity to play with Giannis and, maybe get that roster in enough shape to win in year two. No, it was about winning. And LeBron put his money where his mouth is because he went to Philadelphia because I think that this is by far the most volatile choice that he could have made. There is a really, really, really high ceiling with the fan base and LeBron about how this can go, but there is a low floor if this doesn't go well.
So back to the elephant in the room, and the elephant would be the 7-foot, 270-pound Joel Embiid, who has played 96 of a possible 246 games in the last 3 years. And, he has had some bad luck with injuries, but I have been one that said he's never been in shape, and I don't know how much he cares. Do you think LeBron can impact that?
Let's put it this way. I mean, if Joel doesn't have his body and, as good a shape as he can possibly get it in this year, is never going to happen. And, this is his best chance to win. Like, the Sixers have this roster has a real chance to win. And I would be surprised if LeBron doesn't play 2 years. I think, I know that the second year is a player option, but I think he's going to give himself 2 years and give himself a chance to really win one. This is a roster that is capable of winning it all. I think it's one of the four most talented rosters in the league, and that four being, the Knicks, the Sixers, the Thunder, and the Spurs, no particular order. And Joel, I don't think that this team needs Joel Embiid in the regular season. I think that Joel Embiid can play 0 games in the regular season, and this roster can still win 50 games. But I 100% absolutely believe that this team needs Joel Embiid to win a championship. They need him to be a 16-game player and not an 82-game player. Watching him and covering him last year, he is an incredible offensive talent. I mean, he does things for a 7-footer that no 7-footer should ever in a million years be able to do. Yet his body consistently breaks down. There are the lower body injuries. There's, all sorts of health scares. There was an appendectomy, which is just like kind of crazy in terms of how unlucky he has been as well. But this is his chance to like really, buckle down, get in shape, stay in shape. He's not going to play 65 games. He's probably not going to play 55 games. But if you can get 50 games out of him, play 50 games and be in as good a shape as humanly possible for a 16-game run, he has a chance to take this roster to the stratosphere just because of how unique he is offensively. His problem right now is defensively because the lower body injuries have, really robbed him of his lateral movement. And that's really hurt him in pick and roll coverage. And the Knicks really honed in on that in the second round last year and just kind of put him in a blender at any chance that they could get. So, that's going to be something that, the Sixers are going to have to figure out, especially if they get the Knicks at some point in the playoffs, or they get a team that has 5 players like the Knicks who can, just kind of all dribble, pass, and shoot and put you in a blender. So it's going to be really interesting to see how Joel approaches this season.
Relatively healthy Joel Embiid with this 76er team against the Knicks in a 7-game series. How do you feel like that goes?
So last year was a sweep.
Yeah.
I would still probably go Knicks in 7. I think that the Sixers do have some advantages this year, which is mainly like last year. You know, the Knicks could hide Jalen Brunson on Kelly Oubre Jr. and mainly get away with it. And they can't do that this year because of just how many great players are in that lineup. You know, that matchup becomes VJ Escom, and VJ will cook them. You know, so that becomes a little bit different. You know, there's no Mitch Robinson, and that becomes a little that's going to hurt the Knicks some because you know them not having Mitch Robinson coming in off the bench, grabbing every single offensive rebound, blocking shots, playing above the rim, and you're replacing that with Andre Drummond. And you know, I covered Andre last year. Really, really, really nice guy. He's not Mitch Robinson. You know, so a lot more onus is going to go on the Karl Anthony Towns. I would still favor the Knicks and say the Knicks in 7, but that's a much, much, much closer series this year than it was last year.
I've been talking about the problem that Maxey and Edgecombe are for the league, their ability. You know, they're a dynamic crew. You add Jaylen Brown to that. As about as good a guard trio as exists, I think, in the NBA.
Yeah.
Your thought?
Yeah, I mean, you know, you can go San Antonio with you know Fox and Harper and Stephen Castle, but outside of that, I mean, you know, Jaylen Brown and Tyrese Maxey and VJ Escom, that's as good and athletic and dynamic a perimeter trio as you're probably going to get. And I think there's going to be some onus, in my opinion, on, you know, LeBron to just be a playmaker. I think that this is going to be the first time in his NBA life that he does not average 20 points a game in a season. And, you know, and I think that it's on Joel Embiid to kind of fill in the blanks where needed and let those 3 guys go. Like, let them run, let them cook off the dribble on the perimeter, let them, you know, those guys are durable guys. Let them be regular season innings eaters. And, you know, LeBron and Joel both kind of, you know, fill in the blanks when needed, where needed. And then, you know, those guys can be ready to kind of assert themselves once you get to the playoffs because, you know, Maxey and Jaylen Brown are both in their primes. They're 28-point-per-game scorers last season. VJ Escom is somebody who I think has a chance to be an all-star in this league. And, you know, and I think it's going to be really incumbent on Nick Nurse to figure out VJ Escom from the standpoint of, you know, blending him in with, you know, the older guys, but also getting him on-ball reps so that he can develop. Because I always thought that, you know, watching him, he has a chance to one day be Anthony Edwards. And, you know, he's not going to have that kind of runway in terms of on-ball usage, obviously. But they still need to get him enough on-ball usage that, you know, he stays on his development path, that he set for himself in his rookie season.
The great Tony Jones with us, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. You've had a chance to watch some Summer League. You saw A.J. DeBonsa. You saw Darryn Peterson. You saw some of these other guys. Obviously, people love to overreact over what they saw in the middle of July. But were there some things that you can take away that you can project into the regular season from some of these guys?
Yeah, with Darryn, I thought that he was put in a tough spot because he didn't have as many NBA players around him as A.J. DeBonsa and Cameron Boozer. Cameron Boozer had a full lineup of NBA players around him, and at least for that first game, so did A.J. DeBonsa, and Darryn Peterson had Cody Williams. So, you know, I think that a lot of people talk about, you know, Darren's turnovers and all of that stuff, but it was just a different deal for him than it's going to be in the regular season. He's obviously going to be surrounded by NBA players in the regular season. He's going to have NBA spacing, and he wasn't afforded that in summer league. That being said, I thought that Darryn showed an amazing ability to get to his spots, real ability to handle the basketball. He showed some passing chops, obviously, in the Salt Lake Summer League. You know, he did some really, really good things this summer. You know, AJ DeBanza, I don't think that, you know, we've seen a physical force come into the league from the small forward spot in a while. I mean, he's even more of a physical force than Cooper Flagg is in terms of, you know, rim pressure, playing above the rim, and just doing things 6'9", 6'10", that guys his size should not be doing. And you know, and Cameron Boozer is as advertised, just a really great intellectual thinker on the floor, terrific rebounder, really skilled. You know, had one of the best summer leagues out of anybody in the NBA. So, you know, it's quite the top three, and you know, and I really, I'm really looking forward to seeing them translate to the regular season.
You have covered the Jazz a long time, and obviously with the Walker Kessler situation, the Jazz are going to kind of attack that center position by committee. Knowing what you know of the guys they have and their plan to do that, how do you think that will go?
Yeah, it's going to be different. I think that Nurk will start just because of his ability to blend in with the offense, his ability to distribute from the nail and run the DHOs that Will Hardy likes. You know, I think that Jaren Jackson Jr. will make his way to the 5 a lot this season, even though he can't rebound. And, you know, we're going to see some Jackson Hayes as well. So, you know, it's losing Walker is going to hurt the regular season. The regular season ceiling. I thought that this team with Walker Kessler could have ended up third in the West. I thought that highly of them. And now I think that, you know, they'll end up, you know, 6th in the West with a ceiling of 5th, and they could very well be a playing team. But, you know, if you're a Jazz fan, just think of the haul that you got for Walker. Because, you know, Austin Ames took everything but the Hollywood sign off of Rob Pelinka in that trade. But it will hurt a little bit in the short term. So I still think that the Jazz are going to be one of my top 5 league pass teams this year because I think that, you know, Keontae and Lowry and Jaren, that's, you know, a real good 3. And, you know, add in, you know, the young guys in Darryn Peterson and Ace Bailey. You know, that's a team that still has a really good chance to do some really good things. And, you know, and I got to throw in Kyle Filipowski as well. I think that he'll be in the mix at the 5 as well. So it's going to be really interesting to watch the Jazz, and it'll be really fun to see them try to win this year.
Yeah, I just want to circle back to one thing you said. You're right. Jaren Jackson has not been a very good rebounder, numbers-wise. You feel like that is something with a new look and kind of that need that he could get better at, or you've watched him enough to know that's just not in his bag?
Oh, no, he's never going to rebound the ball. No, he's like Mo Taylor. But he's going to do a ton of other things. Like he's a nuclear weapon offensively. Especially at the 5. Like if you put him at the 5, and you know you're going to spread out whatever team that you're playing against, and he's a great rim protector. The 2 things that he doesn't do, he doesn't rebound, and he doesn't play without foul. You know, so those are the 2 things that have held him back and have stopped him. Those are the 2 things that have capped him at being an all-star. If he could rebound and if he could stay on the floor without fouling, we might be talking about an MVP candidate at that point, and he wouldn't have been available for the Jazz to even trade for. But he's a guy that's really unique offensively for a 7-footer. Can handle the ball like a guard. Can really shoot it. Can really pass it. He can play, facing the basket. He can post you up. He can play with both hands. He's kind of ambidextrous down there on the block. So he can do, just so many things that are advantageous to you offensively. And I think that he and Lauri Markkanen are going to be a heck of a forward tandem.
The quality of pickup players, how much better is it in Philadelphia as opposed to Salt Lake City?
It's better in Salt Lake City for one reason. It's it's still good out in Philadelphia. I still play with good players and I still play consistently. But I was in Salt Lake City for 17 years, and I was a lot more known there. And long story short, I always got the invite to the pro runs. So when the overseas guys and the NBA guys and the college guys were playing, I was able to get invites and go and play with those guys. And, nobody really knows me in Philadelphia, so I actually have to, play with, actual regular common folks.
The peasants. Look at you.
They say that those that do, and those that can't coach. So I quit. I put up my shoes a long time ago, my guy. So you're playing for both of us. Go get them.
Man, I appreciate that, man. I'm going to go and get a couple of runs in tonight, so hopefully it goes well.
Well, good luck. Hopefully the family's well. Hopefully you'll be able to get in some time with them, because when the season starts, you probably won't see them until, May or June. So it's going to be a hell of a run for you for sure. We're excited for you. It should be interesting.
I've already told the wife that, A, don't expect me for Christmas.
Oh, yeah.
That's a given.
That's a given. And B, there were always times in the past where I could just skip road games. I'd go to 30 of the 41 road games. Those days are over. I'll be at all 41 road games this year.
Try to get on the documentary too, if you don't mind.
Yeah, there you go.
Because I like to see somebody on there I like.
I can see myself right now. Do you want me to look at this camera? Is this mic on?
Yeah. You're doing the Netflix documentary thing. All right.
Yeah.
Where am I looking?
Hi, I'm Tony Jones. You might recognize me from 24-Hour Fitness.
Absolutely.
TJ, you're the best, man. We'll talk to you soon.
Thanks, my guy.
See you, brother.
There he is. Man, the best dude on the planet. Tony Jones, right here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Yeah, his world's upside down. There's no doubt.
But think about, for him, it would be like for me, my GOAT is Michael Jordan, right? So
yeah.
You get a chance to cover Michael in his last season. That would be pretty awesome. I'm excited for Tony, but I also...
Maybe not that Wizard season.
No, that would have been tough to watch.
Yeah.
Wore 45 in that bad uniform, too.
Yeah.
Those were really bad uniforms.
Yeah, we just pretend like that never happened.
He looks so much better in the old Bullets uniforms, the West Unseld.
Yeah.
Those are tight.
All right, 12:32, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Again, big thanks to Tony Jones for joining us. This is 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
We all have routines. I'm Jabron, and with diabetes, mine was finger sticks. Sometimes I skip them because they hurt. The Freestyle Libre 3CGM changed that. It gives me glucose insights without finger sticks. Learn more at freestylelibre.us.
Finger sticks are required if your glucose alarms or readings do not match symptoms, or when you see check blood glucose symbol for the first 12 hours. The views expressed should not be used for medical diagnosis or treatment as a substitute for professional medical advice. Individual circumstances may vary. For prescription only. Safety info found at freestylelibre.us.
And the coach, Tim LaComb.
Now I know y'all are tripping.
Presented by Mountain Land Supply on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Scott Garrard, the coach, Tim LaComb. All right, a little bit of breaking news here. You ready for this one?
I am so ready.
Draymond Green has signed a 1-year contract with, guess who?
Oh, gosh. Golden State.
How about Golden State? Yeah, he was never going to leave. 1 year, $27 million contract.
It's too much.
According to Clutch Sports CEO Rich Paul. This is the same contract that Green opted out of to give the Warriors flexibility to pursue LeBron James. Rich Paul, you sneaky dog, you. So they opt out, allow the Warriors to give them a little flexibility, and then he's like, all right, well, then go back and go get that $27 million so I can get my 3% or whatever Rich Paul's getting.
I would have heartburn paying Draymond Green that much money at this stage.
$27.7 million. That's just a thank you contract, isn't it?
I mean, it would have to be because they're nowhere near winning. And we're talking about a dude last year that averaged 8 points and 5 rebounds.
$27 million for an 8-5 guy.
No, thank you.
Who's not particularly good in the locker room these days.
I mean, he was 11th in Defensive Player of the Year.
But, you got that going for you. Yeah.
That's just because he's got sharp elbows.
Just outside the top 10.
Yeah, I just that one. Not surprised he's going back, but I would have to swallow hard on that one. That just seems crazy.
Well, this also has the feel of you know what, we kind of owe it to you, but we want you to move on, so we'll give you the 1-year deal, but this has got to be it. And, you know, I think you can't do that with Steph Curry, but there's been instances, even the great Kobe Bryant there at the end, it's like the Lakers really weren't sure what to do with him. It's like kind of what the Lakers were doing with Kobe or with LeBron James. Like, we need you to move on. Can you go? And Dallas did it with Dirk Nowitzki. Like, there's these guys that want to hang on and keep playing, and that's great. And the franchise feels like they owe it to them, but also it's preventing a hard reset, which I'm sure Golden State wants to do.
Without doubt. I mean, last year it was the second worst offensive field goal percentage. So, I mean, this is not the same guy that was the Defensive Player of the Year back in 16-17. I mean, there's just more baggage. You know, he's got some of those things that appeal, but yeah, interesting. I'm glad I'm not an NBA owner.
I'm glad I'm not an NBA. Well, I don't know. There's some other perks that go along
That's
with
true.
being an
I guess
NBA
your
owner.
other part of your life's okay. But
Yeah.
I would have a hard time. That wouldn't be one I'd have to have someone else write that check.
Well, I remember talking to Larry H. Miller. He used to do weekly interviews, and there was a year when, and at that point, it felt like it was a massive year. Matt Harpring re-signed, Gordon Garachek re-signed. The Jazz doled out $250 million in contracts one off season. I think Andre Karolinko was in there too. And so I asked him, hey, do you cringe when you see this? He's like, it's just numbers on an Excel sheet. That's the way you got to look at it. They're just numbers on an Excel sheet.
Yeah, I mean, because I look at salaries all the time and what guys are owed, and then obviously on the chart it goes over to show what is owed, and like the $1 billion is not something, you know, over a 5-year span. And when you run an NBA team, that's something you've got to be able to come up with to pay these guys. That's crazy, but you know, it just doesn't seem like Draymond got paid $22 million in 23, then 24, 25. It just doesn't seem like he should be signing one for more at this point.
Well, and it's not necessarily even a contract where the Jazz signed Kevin Love as a guy that can come in and nurture a locker room and show guys how to do it the right way. I mean, this guy's a grade A Jack A, you know? And
yeah, he's going to punch your rookie in the face.
Yeah, you bring him in, and it's not like he's coaching up his rookies. All he's looking for is content for his podcast, and he's going to create that any way he can by racking up technicals, flagrants, and picking fights in the in the locker room.
And Kevin Love, just to put it in perspective, a little bit older and all that, but last year's salary was $4 million,
which is in line with what Kevin Love gave the Jazz last year.
So you're basically giving this guy $28 million so that your team could not make the playoffs again.
Yes.
And, yeah, you're just dragging, in my mind, an old guy down the street. But I guess that's part of it. You got to fill your roster.
But honestly, I'm not blaming Draymond. Look, if I've got somebody that's offering me $28 million and my market value is maybe $5 at most.
No, of course. No,
Let's
that's not
go.
his fault. I do believe he will be a guy that finds himself to the booth when he's done.
Yeah,
to the rest of us, his demise.
It scares me to death, and I think they're already kind of grooming it. But I think he's next up on that inside the NBA.
Yeah, and I haven't liked him on it.
Yeah, I haven't either, and it breaks my heart because they're going to throw him on there, and I will stop watching and it's nothing personal against Draymond. I don't like him. It's nothing like he plays for the Warriors and the Jazz hate the Warriors or some of the issues he's had with the Jazz. It has nothing to do with that. I just don't really care for what he has to say. I don't think he's funny. I think he tries to be funny. I don't think he's funny.
I'm not big on petulance.
Yeah, exactly.
This is a petulance-free zone.
And he acts like he is a petulant punk, and he gets away with it, so that just encourages it even more.
But $28 million. I mean, we spent a few minutes on it, but yeah, I'm scratching my head. I knew you knew you'd have me on that one, didn't you? Because you said I got something for when you get back.
Well, and that's the thing. It's not surprising that he's back with the Golden State. It is surprising at that number. But hey, Rich Paul can do what Rich Paul does, and that's get guys a ton of money. Hello.
We talked about Tony Braxton earlier. Now Adele.
But honestly, Rich, you've got guys that have so much leverage in the NBA because you want to take care of one guy in hopes that agent will take care of you down the line. Like, look, this is a business of favors. Like, I'm going to scratch your back. I'll get your guy signed. I'll overpay him by $2 million. But I'm going to need your guy when he's a free agent to give us heavy consideration. Like, we need him here next year. So I'm going to do this for you now. You better hook me up down the line. And sometimes that goes through and sometimes that doesn't. But Golden State's saying, all right, Rich, we'll do this for you, but we're going to need your help when it comes time to sign one of your bigger free agents.
Highest paid player in 26-27. You want to take a guess?
It was somebody. It's going to make you. Was it Paul George?
No, it's actually Steph Curry.
Oh, okay.
So $62 million to Steph and $28 million to Draymond, and you're not winning. Wow. I go down to 20 in the $28 million range. I would just say one of these is not like the other. Jared Allen, Devin Vassell, Trey Murphy III, Miles Turner, Jaden McDaniels, and Draymond Green.
Yep. Hey, you
it's
hit
too much
that on
money.
that. Way too much money for Draymond.
So enjoy it, dude, because this is I can't imagine next year you're going to even get half that.
No, and he won't be with. I'm sure they'll ride off into sunset.
I hope so. It's time.
It's like, we'll give you one more year. Get, add a few more subscriptions to that podcast, and then you can go right into the broadcast booth. All right, 1246, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
The Mammoth and the Utes, Cougars, and Aggies. When it comes to sports in Utah, we've got you covered. This is Scotty G and the coach, Tim LaComb, presented by Mountain Land Supply on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Saw these dudes in concert about a week and a half ago, Avett Brothers, over there at the Maverick Center. Really, really good show. These dudes are great live. Good albums. Better live, though, by a long shot. All right. We were just doing a little research as Coach Canales at Weber State has got himself an associate head coach, according to Jeff Goodman. Caleb Canales is hiring Pat Zipfel as his associate head coach. He has been in the NBA the last 25-plus years, the last 3 with the 76ers on Nick Nurse's staff as an advanced scout. And got to imagine that's probably what you're looking at now as you fill out a staff for guys that know how to go find talent. Because at Weber State, you're not going to buy talent, but you better go find it.
Find it, develop it, and then, the advanced scouting piece it speaks to his ability to really figure out a way to study another team. Just like I used to liken it to almost all of us are so unique, right? And watch crime stuff all the time. We've got our unique DNA that can find us, and teams have that. You watch a team and you watch a game and you may pick up on some of it, but you watch 10. 5 to 10 games, you're going to see how this team wants to play to be successful. And your job then is to take them and do things to them that they can't do that. They got to do something else. And so he's been a master of that, not just in the NBA, but in the college level. So it's a great signing for Weber State.
Yeah, and that's that's maybe an opportunity for him to try to carve out a niche for himself in the college ranks, and then maybe get a head coaching job. But Weber State, we had a great conversation with their head football coach yesterday, Eric Kerr. If you missed that, it's up on our website at kslsports.com, or you can just search Scotty and the Coach on your podcasting platform of choice and catch it there. But I thought that was a fascinating conversation with a guy who realizes, hey, Weber State, we got a chance to bring in some Utah kids and win right away.
Super impressed with Eric and super impressed with Caleb when we had him on as well. Weber State's a hidden gem. It's awesome. Love everything that they do up there. Excited, for the new leadership in both those programs. Damian Lillard heavily involved on the basketball side as well. So keep your eyes on the purple.
Yes. And again, from a football standpoint, I love the fact that they're taking a shot at a high school guy.
I do
because
too.
Eric Kerr is not. I mean, he's a high school guy. Corner Canyon, I get it, but that dude's been putting out so much talent, and that he doesn't feel like a high school coach.
He never approached that job like a high school guy. Like he's been running that, and we talked about a little bit yesterday. The thing that stands out is when a guy's able to take a culture from one place to the other. His heavy on accountability. And, not peer pressure, but kind of like that. You see guys in the weight room and they're posting their numbers and everything's out in the open. And I think that's what he's talking about is just that. So both those programs have been successful over the years. Excited to see that continue with these guys.
Yeah, that's just, and it's hard not to root. And I mentioned that yesterday too. Like, you know what? I'm full out rooting for Weber State football. I am, just because I want a good home for Utah kids that feel like they're being under-recruited. And I want, a guy that is making that jump to be able to be successful and take that thing to the next level. So they had it rolling with Jay Hill back down to earth last couple of years, and now have a chance to revitalize that thing. And if they can, then let's go. Absolutely.
Have you seen a show, speaking of Ogden and the amphitheater up there, have you ever gone up to the Ogden amphitheater?
I have not.
I want to do that sometime. There's some good shows in this week here in Salt Lake. Death Cab for Cutie tonight.
Oh, really? Where are they
Amphitheater in Sandy.
Okay.
Post Malone.
Yeah. A lot of people are going to that.
Tomorrow
is Posty tonight?
Post is tonight, yeah.
Wow.
And then Howard Jones.
Hojo.
Things can only get better. Tomorrow at the Maverick Center. And we got the Alabama Shakes in town this week, who I love. So good music in town, too. Sports may be a little, it's bubbling, but music's in full tilt.
Top 3 in no particular order concerts.
That's tough because they're like my kids, but...
And that's why I say no order. Maybe
I think
the 3 that come to mind.
We talked about Black Sabbath the other day. I'd never seen them. I went on a Sunday while I was working at BYU.
Oh, boy.
As a coach by myself. It was Father's Day Sunday. Saw Black Sabbath, one of their last shows that they've ever done. So that was one. Tom Petty at the Maverick Center was definitely one. And then I know you laugh at these guys and give me a hard time. I've never had like front row center tickets to any show but this one. And I saw Def Leppard, Poison, and Heart from the front row. And I know you sat back in your chair and discussed.
I'm just thinking of that as a show. Collectively, that's a great show.
It was a great show. And I had, the tickets couldn't have been better. Thanks, Bob Hunt. Bob's the ticket man in town you need to know. So,
hey, Bob, what's up?
Yeah, Bob will be your friend too.
Okay.
Yeah, Bob's been in the bag. In fact, speaking of a buddy of mine, back when Jordan played in the finals in Salt Lake, my buddy had third row center court tickets. And we negotiated. He came to me. He's like, "We got to sell these games on a Sunday. I don't want to go." So, got with Bob, who's Mr. Ticket, and we ended up selling those tickets to David Falk.
Oh, really?
Yes,
the David Falk.
The David Falk. For a very large sum of cash that was delivered back in the day from the airport, because you could actually go in then when you didn't have a ticket.
Yeah.
So I just went up, waited for the guy to get off the plane, handed me a briefcase. I handed him the tickets, and he boarded the next plane back to Chicago. And I carried the briefcase back to its owner.
Nice.
And took a little piece of the action.
Attaboy.
For my trouble.
Yeah, as you should. Hey, we were talking about Draymond Green. Here's a number from Hoops Hype. Draymond Green is the 67th player in NBA history to reach the $250 million plateau in guaranteed career earnings.
He's just a little less than I had.
By the way, guess how many of those 67 players average fewer than 10 points a game in their career?
None.
He's the only one. He is the only one.
I'm telling you, that's what stood out to me. Like, you're paying him what? First of all, he's a pain in the butt.
Yes.
You're not winning anymore.
No.
So just kick him to the curb and go sign, Harry Higginson on a two-way deal and do your best till you can load up again. But it just seems stupid to pay that guy that much money.
The only one out of the 67 players in NBA history to earn over $250 million, the only one averaging less than 10 points a game.
I mean, people were freaking out about the deal that Gary Trent signed because, he was under 10 points. His was only 16 million.
Yeah.
Go figure.
And then, look, Draymond, okay, he'll give you some good defense. Even that's on the downward slide now.
A lot of drama, a lot of talking points during the season.
Yeah.
That's, I guess, the good thing for the media.
1 o'clock straight up. Coming up next, we'll talk some college football. Does this bill actually have life in the Senate? What about the unionization going on at Stanford? There's a lot of storylines that don't involve football, and we actually will talk a little football. Coming up next, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Order for Jennifer C.
Is this my double shot, double cream, double froth, double pump, double whip, double sleeve?
Yeah. Can you handle that much caffeine?
Did you know Discover automatically doubles all the cash back you've earned at the end of your first year?
Oh, really? That's great.
Seriously, did you know Discover automatically doubles all the cash back you've earned at the end of your first year?
Yeah, you just said that.
Did you say I just said that?
Yeah, I'm cutting you off.
I can't have any more? Why not?
You earn, we match. Discover Cashback Match. See terms at discover.com/creditcard.
What you think of my new saddle, Lizard?
Oh, yeah, it's swell, mate. Proper comfy.
Just one of the upgrades I've added to this puppy.
What else have you got on here?
New air intake filter, quick shifter, and a beefy muffler.
Well, that's why you ride with Geico Motorcycle Insurance, so you can cover your custom parts and equipment. Now let's hear that muffler purr.
All right, hang on tight to my love handles.
It feels good to ride with help. It feels good to Geico.
You're locked on to Scotty G and the coach, Tim LaComb. Presented by Mountain Land Supply on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Scott Garrard, the coach, Tim LaComb. All right, so much going on in the world of college athletics that doesn't actually even involve athletics, but to help make sense of it all, Bill Bender from the Sporting News, kind enough to hang out with us. Bill, how are you?
Hey, I'm doing well. Thanks for having me on.
Always good to catch up. All right, so does this bill saving college athletics? Does it? It seems like it was dead. Now we might have a pulse again. What's the latest?
Yeah, I think Big Ten Commissioner Tony Petitti breathed some life into it, so to speak. With the talk that Greg Sankey and him are actively involved, trying to work through some changes to it. I mean, I think piece by piece, some of those reforms will come to college football. But I mean, if you're asking me to predict the U.S. Senate and the U.S. House of Representatives and everything that goes on, and I won't be doing that today. I have no clue on that. But, yeah, definitely gaining some momentum.
We have crystal balls around here. We'll send you one, and it may aid in your ability to do so. So, obviously, the timing is really important to get this to the floor. And I did hear the comments of the Big Ten commissioner today. I think we all know this is headed toward a super league at some point. But the climate today with all of the revenue and everything else, to me it seems as though this is this street could run out of room. I feel like we're up against it in this wild era of college football.
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is, right? Like we opened Pandora's box, and this is what happened. And when you have all these streams, whether it's the portal or eligibility or, NIL and trying to, somebody's got to pay for all of it. And I always say, college football is one of the sports governed by emotion. You have coaches that get fired for losing a couple games. We fired James Franklin and Brian Kelly last year in the middle of the season, and Lane Kiffin left one school for another. So when you hear the phrase Wild Wild West, there's some validity to it. So I think, like I said, piece by piece, to me it still starts with the calendar. You fix the calendar, you fix eligibility, you try to find a way to deter student athletes from entering the portal at the rate they're entering it. And then you get into the finances. I mean, but unless you think the finances are going to run out first. So, piece by piece, I think we can fix all of it.
Is there a way that, look, anybody negotiates anything, whether it's a house, a car, or whatever the case is, you're always going to feel like you gave up something. But the Big Ten and the SEC are such the big dogs in this thing that they're not in a position, or they're not willing to give up much. What are the one or two things that they are really sticking their heels in the ground in and saying, we're not budging on this?
Well, the rules part needs to get clarified. Like, is everybody operating on the same rules? I think, the Big Ten, at least from listening to Tony Petitti today, it seemed like their focus is more on the playoff and trying to expand this playoff to 24 teams. That's an entirely different discussion from all of the things in the Protect Sports College Act. They are very into access and getting more teams involved, losing the conference championship games, and speaking from a podium where Tony Petitti spoke today next to 3 trophies. So when you have those trophies like they have in the last 3 years, there's a little bit more incentive to speak in that manner. So, and he did promote the rivalry with the SEC, but I think it really comes down to the SEC and the Big Ten, how much they're going to agree to and how much they're going to influence and shape some of this legislation.
We heard today another patch announced. This actually a couple. Ohio State came out with they had an hour of gloating, and then Notre Dame came in over the top. But finding ways to revenue. You talked about paying for things, but the ability to name stadiums and do the patch thing. You think that's a positive thing in that direction?
No, it doesn't matter if you think it's positive or negative. It's coming. I mean, as soon as I get off the phone here, I have to throw out my editor's 5 patch suggestions for schools in college football, and people may click on it. Like one I threw out right away is like Michigan. Just go get the Ford patch.
There you go.
Gerald Ford played there, so that's an easy one. Boston College, go get your Dunkin' Donuts patch and go from there. So I think they're coming, and as much as the old school part of me is like kind of just rolls your eyes a little bit, it's part of the reality now. I remember they did this with NFL with the training camp jerseys, right? And then wasn't there a Tom Brady jersey with like Gillette as the patch on the preseason, whatever. So it's part to raise this money that I'm talking about. Somebody's got to pay for all these things.
When you look at actual football and you look at the potential of what this season's going to look like, there's a lot of people fired up here, certainly with BYU on the upswing with a returning quarterback. You got the University of Utah now with new leadership, but obviously a culture and a tradition of winning there. In that Big 12 race now, with the Sorsby stuff all kind of figured out, do you still look at Texas Tech as the big dog in that conference, or do you look at BYU right there with them, if not ahead of them?
Well, I like that. I think the Big 12 has a tier of 4 teams that I look at: Utah, BYU, Texas Tech, Houston this year. That's kind of my top tier, and I can find reasons to like all 4 of them, right? Like, I know Utah had a coaching switch, but still like the quarterbacks, really do. Like the roster. BYU, like the quarterback, like the running back, LJ Martin, and their defense. Texas Tech, even with Will Hammond and the talent that they have, they'll be able to put up a fight. And Houston's kind of that sleeper to me. Not really a sleeper when you won 10 games last year, which they did. So, and the schedule plays a role, right? Like Texas Tech, if I'm not mistaken, I've heard this a couple times, but they don't play BYU or Utah. So if they beat Houston in week 3, they've got a pretty good shot to get all the way to Jerry World and play in that Big 12 championship game.
I saw an article today. Everybody's bored. You're doing the patch thing. Somebody released a simulation from College Football 27 that had, of all people, Boise State winning the national championship. Go figure. But I know that's probably not going to happen. But do you have a couple dark horses, teams that maybe aren't being talked about a bunch that have a chance to make some noise in December?
I mentioned Louisville a couple times over the summer. I like what they have with the running game. Lincoln Kienholz transferring in from Ohio State. Cleb Lubin, one of the best defensive players in the country that nobody's really talking about. You look at his pass rush numbers, they're incredible. I think they're one in the ACC. They could make some noise along with SMU, who isn't, they've competed in that conference the last 2 years. I think in the Big 12, tough to say. I like that top tier a little bit more. Washington in the Big Ten's an interesting roster around Damon Williams. They've won a lot of big games. It's just, can they win a couple big ones when they play a Michigan or an Ohio State? They definitely play Penn State this year. That'll be a big game. So I think those are a couple teams that actually stick out.
So obviously there might be some people here keeping an eye on University of Michigan. What do you expect out of Kyle Whittingham's crew this year?
Well, they'll be on the podium Thursday, and I think Kyle Whittingham's going to have to answer a lot of questions about things that didn't even happen when he was there, which I don't envy him on the podium or the breakout session tomorrow. But I think Kyle's going to do a fantastic job. The Big Ten Network commentators, Jerry DiNardo, Howard Griffith, Dave Revison, it's kind of crazy to think that that's been around for 20 years, but they've been very complimentary of Kyle Whittingham today. I think they know he brings a seriousness to the program. The big question is what Jason Beck does with Bryce Underwood, 5-star talent, huge NIL deal, and can they get the most out of him for the next season or the next 2 seasons and get him on a progression where he would be a first-round type quarterback, because Michigan's going to need that. They'll be able to run the football and be physical. Kyle Whittingham does that all the time, and that's Michigan's DNA anyway. But can they have that quarterback development around it? That would be the difference maker against a tough schedule.
You mentioned Kyle Whittingham. We talked about Morgan Scalley. Any other first-year coaches out there in new spots that you feel like, like we heard a bunch about Colin Klein at Big 12 Media Days and how he may really be able to help Avery Johnson. Any other first-year coaches you feel like have kind of landed in a good situation, might be able to do some good things right out of the gate?
I like Colin Klein. I like Eric Morris, too, at Oklahoma State. Landing Drew Mestemaker and Caleb Hawkins. Caleb Hawkins had 25 rushing touchdowns last season. So how does that carry over from North Texas to the Big 12? We'll see. But I like the pieces. I like Matt Campbell. He was on the podium today. Not a guy that's going to generate a lot of attention on social media. And sometimes that's a good thing. He knows how to coach a program. Brought a bunch of those Iowa State guys. You've seen him up close. Great program builder. Good fit for Penn State and what they're trying to do. So those are a couple that stands out. Maybe a little bit less, and he'll be on the podium tomorrow. Pat Fitzgerald, good to see him back in college football and what he might be able to do at Michigan State this year.
Yeah, I like that hire a lot for sure. If you had to your preseason Heisman poll, who are your 2 or 3 guys you're looking at?
Well, that's fluid. That changes first week, but it's really a quarterback award, and you look at some of the top quarterbacks, whether it's Arch or Trinidad Chambliss, who is our top quarterback at Sporting News heading into the season. C.J. Carr's getting a lot of hype. Those are the 3 that stand out. And then, that ignores Julian Sayin, who's the only returning Heisman finalist at Ohio State, and Jeremiah Smith, who might be the best player in college football that he's throwing to. So I think you really start your list with those 5, and then you kind of move your way around to like a Darian Mensah and some of the other names on the list.
I've seen you've written a bunch of great articles. You wrote one about Arch Manning a bit ago. Talk about Arch Manning at Texas and what he's got to do to get off the ground there and get some things going.
Well, I thought he was great in the second half. The progression I've envisioned for Arch Manning is kind of what's unfolded. He started his career last year, full-time starter, goes to Ohio State, plays a defense that was just legendary, and everybody's down on him. Has a terrible game at Florida, and then we're calling him a bust. And he turned around second half of the season, played really good football. So I just think you're going to see more improvement. Is he, Peyton and Eli put together with Archie on the side? No, but I think he'll continue to develop as a really good quarterback, and that Texas roster is loaded. He's got a ton of skill position talent around him with Cam Coleman, the 2 running backs, Raleek Brown, Hollywood Smothers, tight end strong. So if the offensive line holds up, Texas is going to be very, very good this season, and I think that puts the pressure on Sark to push this team through, right?
Well, that's
Sark more than Arch to me, because I think Arch is going to face all that at the NFL.
Yeah. I was just gonna say that because, you know, you have that loaded talent, you have that expectation. I'm sure Texas paid dearly for that roster. I got to imagine that's a bit of a warm seat there in Austin.
Oh, I mean, for sure. And I think, you know, obviously Texas is, I don't know if it's a hot seat, but he has been to the semifinals 2 of the last 3 years. If they don't make a run this year, and he's sitting here this time of year making the case of why they should have made the playoff, which I'm kind of on board with their case from last year at 9-3 because they played Ohio State, but it's still Texas. Nobody's ever going to feel sorry for Texas not getting in the playoff. In fact, you know, the rest of the college football world really likes piling on them whenever they can, given the resources. But I think it's definitely an opportunity for him to do that.
So, including, I guess we talked about Sark a little bit. Who's got the hottest seat in college football in your mind?
Well, I'd say Mike Norvell's up there. You know, obviously Florida State coming off back-to-back losing seasons since, you know, they were snubbed from the playoff a couple years ago. So they're one that definitely, you know, are going to want to have better results this season. Bill Belichick, you know, with the news that broke yesterday on Lombardi, I mean, it's been a mess. There has been very few positive headlines to write out of North Carolina over the last couple of years. But I think that's one that's going to get a lot of attention.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's an ugly one there. And it just goes to show you that just because you may have been able to do it at the professional ranks doesn't mean it's going to translate to the collegiate ranks. It's just been a monumental disaster. And I don't know how you separate yourself from Bill Belichick if you're North Carolina. Maybe this stuff with Mike Lombardi helps you a little bit, but if I'm North Carolina, I don't know how I can essentially part ways with this guy.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's the thing. And I think if you're lucky, if they don't make the progress that you're anticipating them to make, and to me that means 5 or 6 wins. You got to be better than 4 and 8. You got to look better doing it. Maybe Belichick retires. Maybe there's a parachute that way. But they're, I don't want to say stuck with him, but I think Bill could dig in a little bit and try to be successful. So, yeah, it's a big year for them. And I want to see them succeed. I don't actively root for people to fail. So, but I just think it's a really big ask, and they need to have some positivity. And it starts, we're all going to be watching the opener again when they play TCU in Dublin.
How much are people keeping an eye on the Stanford unionization story and seeing if that has legs?
Well, they should keep an eye on it because obviously college football, I mean, it's headed in that direction. I've said for a couple of years now that I think there should be some unionization. There should be those kind of things where the student athletes have a voice when they're making the money. That's one missing piece here. It's like, do you think the NFL would exist without an NFLPA right now? Of course not. So when there's that much money on the table and that much money to be had, and talk of salary caps, and not to mention these kids are going to college. I mean, you forget about that piece of it, right?
Are they really?
That these kids actually go to college and have to go to classes. And, you know, what's that look like moving forward? And I think certainly should be paid attention to because it's coming to the sport.
All right, Sue, I'm going to make you commissioner of college football for 1 minute. What's the first rule you change, structural rule change that gets things starting to look a little more like we're used to? Is it the transfer thing?
The schedule. No, the schedule. I would say in 1 minute I would move signing day up before the season so they can sign before the season so it's not during the playoff. I would punch the season back a week so we start earlier in August and punch the playoff up if I can. I know the logistics are what they are, but I would go to 16 teams. I'd play the first 2 rounds on campus, and I'd get us out by January 9th so you're not being interfered with the NFL playoffs. Because to me, that you're never going to win that battle.
You're hired.
Let's go.
That'd be great.
That was a 1 minute interview. You're hired.
Done and done. Hey, Bill, we appreciate your time. Thanks for joining us. Hopefully we'll be able to catch up soon.
Hey, anytime. Thanks for having me on. Take care, guys.
There he is, senior writer, Sporting News, Bill Bender, right here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. that calendar's interesting, too. And it's something that doesn't get talked about a lot, but, he lays it out like that. It makes a lot of sense.
Go there and then go after the portal. Figure out how to make that less of an issue. I think those are two big steps.
Ross Dellinger, Yahoo Sports, says congressional lawmakers have put the SEC and the Big Ten on the clock. The conferences have until 9 a.m. Wednesday to change their position on the Protect College Sports Act, sources tell Yahoo Sports. So, yeah, here we go.
Come on, let's get this thing done. Let's save it once and for all.
Let's save college sports. Come on.
Cinderella sang, "Save me."
Let's just, look, let's just, everybody calm it down. Let's just get this thing done. Let's move on. It ain't going to happen.
There's no chance.
There's no way this happens. And look, I am using my reverse jinx power because everything I project on this show when it comes to, although I did win major pain in the butt this last time.
Yes, you did. We didn't even give you any, because, I wasn't crowing about it, of course.
You hadn't let us know that you had won 2 in a row. Not one bit.
I can tell when I ruffle Scotty's feathers, he's like, okay, all right, I'm going to do this one.
We going to go? Let's go. But usually when I make any kind of prediction, you need to pick the opposite because that's what's going to happen. But so I'm trying to reverse jinx this a little bit when I say there is no way on this green earth this law passes next week.
I honestly
don't even think a lot of it's like, when you propose to a girl, and for all you kids out there, especially you kids down at BYU, like to jump the gun a little bit.
Oh, you proposed?
I proposed.
Oh,
yeah.
She proposed to me.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I was a hot commodity.
Well,
she
yeah,
came hard at me, and I just
that was a free agent. She had to.
I melted.
But no, when you propose, always know what the answer is going to be. You never propose without knowing what the answer is going to be. All those guys in the stadium that she walks away. First off, that's an act. It's not real. But second, don't be the guy that's on the third date says, let's do this. And you get on one knee and then she's like, I don't even know what your last name is. Don't be that guy. So this won't go to a vote unless they know what the vote will be. So if it goes to a vote, they know that it's going to pass. So there's no question whatsoever that if it goes to a vote, chance something like this, of this kind of magnitude, they're not going to get embarrassed by a losing vote. So they'll know that they have the votes if they put it to the floor. If it doesn't go to the floor, they don't have the votes and it'll die and that's it.
Yeah, I've seen those where, it's like on a Jumbotron and the guy's down on a knee and she's kind of looking like, no, I don't know how to get out of this.
Yeah.
So don't do that.
Yeah. Yeah. Always know
the
Alex,
answer.
When you find the right person, always know what the answer is going to be.
I gotcha.
Yeah. It's bad news. Don't propose before she's ready.
Now, we can do a segment on relationships every day if you'd like. I mean, who's better than you and I?
I don't know. I've been married way too long. I've been out of the game. Like, I don't know.
You just
anything.
go,
where do you want to go?
Hey, marriage is a 6-7, man. You just figure out. It's a juggling match.
Just put your hands up and you're like, yeah, whatever. All right, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
It's time to spin the wheel and talk some sports. This is Sports Roulette on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Sports Roulette right here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Time to spin the old roulette wheel, see where that little white ball lands and what we end up talking about. So let's get to it. Alex filling in for the vacationing shocker Lloyd Cole right here on the zone. Let's get to it.
He's actually going to do it.
So we talked about this earlier in the show. Now it feels like it might actually become a reality. And here's the thing, Coach. Do you believe it, or is this a negotiating bluff? Tampa Bay Buccaneer quarterback Baker Mayfield, as you mentioned, reporting to training camp without a contract and said he will play the final year of his contract before becoming an unrestricted free agent. So he's telling everybody, look, we're done. We're done negotiating. I'm just going to play this year. Whatever happens, happens. But I will be an unrestricted free agent. And if he has the year that he had last year, that market for him and his services are going to be sky high.
Yeah, through the roof, no question. But like you said earlier, bet on yourself. You know the offense, you know the spot. You've been there a while. Things have been going well. You just need one more good one. You can pack a contract in there. So I would imagine that's his mindset.
Mayfield said he wanted an agreement in place before the start of camp, or he would discontinue talks just to focus on football. So that's his point. He's sticking to his gun. Said, look, we had up until camp. Camp has started. I'm shutting it down, and you guys can pay me at the end of the year. Look, no deal is ever not done. So I still think there will be negotiation. This is a little bit of a negotiating ploy. They'll still talk. His agent will still talk to the Buccaneers, try to hammer out a deal. I would be surprised if before the end of the preseason, Baker Mayfield isn't locked down to a long-term deal.
Highest paid quarterback in the NFL, you ask? Why, that's Dak Prescott at $60 million.
Oh, stealing money.
But I've got one worse. Number 6, Tua Tagovailoa is making $53.1 million. So we talked about it. Baker's 16th in the NFL in his salary at $30 million.
Which isn't chump change. He's doing just fine.
No, he's fine. But when you look at Tua getting 53, of course, Dak, like Jerry's like, well, how much do I need? What was that again? Oh, 60. I'm sorry. Let me read that again.
Jerry loves him some Dak, though. Jerry gave that money to him willingly.
Him some Dak.
Yeah, that's $60 million for Dak.
In the top 10, it's definitely one of these things not like the other. Tua's the one that stands out. Otherwise, it's Prescott, Allen, Burrow, Lawrence, Love, Goff, Purdy, Herbert, who's getting married.
Yeah.
His wife's going to have plenty of change at $52 million, and then Lamar Jackson.
Well, how much is Lamar making?
Lamar's pulling down 52.
Yeah, I think his best years are behind him. I think that one's run its course.
That's going to start, yeah. Unless it's Draymond, it's going to start going down.
Yeah, the production, I think, is going down. Purdy vastly overpaid for what you get out of him. Although, look, he's fun. He's good. But that's way too much. Going through the rest of the list. The one that I think is going to be interesting is my guy, Bo. If he has the year that everybody's expecting
Lloyd
that
and I
he'll
anticipate him to have.
If he has the year that you guys expect him to have, then the Broncos will still have him on the cheap. But if he has the year that I think we all expect him to have outside of you two, then he'll be in that top 10 list pretty quick.
So he's down there still in that rookie.
Yeah, he's on that rookie contract.
He's making about almost $5 million.
Oh, boo. Just scraping by on that $4 or $5 million.
He's making $50 million more.
Oh, man.
Yowza, that would be hard. So I wouldn't want to write Tua's check, and I certainly wouldn't want to write Draymond's. That's my determination from today.
Yeah, and that's, sometimes you just got to bite the bullet. That's the one thing in the NFL. Look, the Broncos were stuck on that Russell Wilson contract, and they're like, look, we're just going to cut it and take our losses. And he made a lot of money not to play for the Broncos, but they also got lucky because they drafted Bo Nix, so they were able to eat that Russell Wilson salary while playing Bo Nix as a rookie. Well, now you got Russell Wilson off the books, which is great, but now you're going to have to pay Bo Nix next year.
This is the last year of his,
Yeah, so it ain't going to be easy.
Well, I'm hoping for great things for you.
I know you are. I get that sense from you and Lloyd that you're all about hoping that nothing but good things happen to the Broncos.
I side with you on everything else. I had to pick something that Lloyd and I can do together.
That's all right. It's okay. No offense taken. All right. Go ahead. Spin it.
Do you believe him?
I actually do on this one. Aaron Rodgers. Speaking of old and retirement, we talked about Draymond Green a lot today. Aaron Rodgers said there is zero debate, the 2026 will be his last season. He goes, I thought last year might be it. And then Mike McCarthy got hired, and I talked to the wife, And she said, you can do it one more year. I said, well, we'll see if it works out. And then it all just kind of came together. Okay, first off, probably shouldn't refer to your wife as the wife. That usually doesn't go over well. And
I typically go wife one.
Yeah. Oh, okay. My first wife.
Yeah, just to distinguish.
Yeah. So I was talking to my first wife.
And people look like, what?
DK Metcalf says, no, I think we can squeeze another year or two out of him. No, this is going to be it for Aaron Rodgers. I'm curious to know how it goes out. This is smart by him, though, because if you lay the groundwork that it's your last year and you're that first ballot Hall of Fame guy, things kind of go your way. Calls kind of go your way. Things just kind of, the script writers have a way of making things work out for you. So it would not surprise me one bit if the Steelers go on a heater this year, just based on that.
I would be all for that. I like the steel curtain. I have a couple buddies, not European, but buddies nonetheless, that are big Steeler people. So it seems like things are good in the world when the Steelers are good.
That's one team, and I'll even throw the Raiders in that. There's certain teams that the NFL is more interesting when they're good. And I think the Pittsburgh Steelers, I've said this about the Raiders forever, as much as I despise the Raiders, because they're such a brand that the league is better when they're good. Same with the Jets, although everybody loves bagging on the Jets, but it's
just where you go to have your career die. Other than that, it's a great spot.
I read a story about the Oregon quarterback who came back for another year. Probably would have been the number 2 overall pick had he gone out in this year's draft behind Fernando. And he went back to Oregon. Now, granted, he's well compensated at Oregon.
Oh, yeah.
But there was a lot of people that said he saw that draft order, saw the Jets picking number 2, figured Fernando to go 1. He's like,
There it is. Nobody does it better. I try.
I might just go back to Oregon for another year. And he is very much vehemently denied it and said that's not the case. I just felt like I had some more things to work on. No, you just didn't want to go to New York. But here's the problem. If you're good enough and you have a good enough college career, or the Jets are going to find you. They'll ruin you.
The Jets will find you.
They'll be there again next year. Drafted in the same place.
Right there at the top where you are. Oh, look who's here. Let's go ahead and add you to our fine roster.
Our list of misfit toys that have come in all, with all the accolades in the world, and we just blow them up. I mean, Sam Darnold finally has been able to piece together a pretty good NFL career, but it took years for him to wash that stink off of him of being a New York Jet.
Absolutely.
Zach Wilson. I hope Zach gets another shot out there somewhere because he deserves to have that stink washed off him of being a Jets quarterback because nothing good comes out of it. However, imagine if you are the quarterback that was able to turn around the New York Jets, only Jalen Brunson would be more popular in New York than you are. That's it. Because Jalen Brunson giving the Knicks a title and playing like he did, that dude will be the king of New York the rest of his life. He doesn't have to do a single thing the rest of his life. And he'll never pay for another meal in New York City.
The Jets have not won in 57 years. They won Super Bowl III.
Yep.
And I just want to warn you that neither that mink jacket or the crazy attitude that we've seen from Joe Namath is walking through that door anytime soon.
I want to kiss you.
Yeah, I want to kiss you. You're very pretty.
I remember watching that live.
I did too. I was like, what's going on? Is this an SNL skit?
Joe, no. Joe.
Say it ain't so, Joe.
Susie Colbert, she handled it about as well as you could have, but
just deflect and try to get to the next episode.
Man,
that was awkward though. But last time they won it, and they have won one, but it's 57 years ago.
All right, one more. Let's spin it.
Big Ten flexing.
So the Big Ten Media Days going on as we speak, and we've mentioned several times Tony Petitti, the commissioner of the Big Ten Conference, had his State of the Conference address earlier, and he made it very clear that his league is the class of college football. He had the last 3 national championship trophies placed to his right as he gave his opening comments today And he was more than happy to say, you know what? We've won the last 3. The SEC, not so much. And so now you got mom and dad bickering with each other. It's like, okay, look, you're both great. You both have a lot of money. You both have too much money to spend. You all get the great athletes. Why don't you just calm it down a little bit?
Oh, I love your patch. Yes, we just got this.
Yes.
Petiti potato. I mean, that's the way I look at this. It'll all come out in the wash. Who's the best conference every year? That's what's great about the playoff. So back in the day, we used to have to just wonder, what if that UPI number 1 actually played that UPI number 2?
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Way back in the day. And that is one positive thing where we are, is we actually get to decide it, and it's not just this, whatever this is.
By the way, Brett Bielema, who's now the new head coach at Illinois, said that he jumped in on this and said he joked about the SEC. The SEC wants to live like it's 2005 forever. And then he said, boy, I think I just made a headline, didn't I? Yeah, you probably did, Brett.
But good point.
Hey, he's not wrong.
Everything was stacked in their favor and then some. So why wouldn't they want to go back there? But everybody else wants to keep it away from that particular territory.
I mean, he's still loving life. Illinois beat Tennessee in the postseason back in 24 and did so against South Carolina as well. He loved taking jabs at the SEC. So, yeah, good for you, man.
Who do you think? You think Indiana wins it? Wins the Big Ten?
Yeah, probably.
He's a great coach.
Curt Cignetti is incredible. Now, look, again, sometimes you got good coaches and sometimes you have good people. I don't think he's a particularly good person. I don't know if I think he kind of runs that a little bit like Big Rick did back in the day.
No, for sure. I get that vibe. For sure.
With a complete iron fist.
And a sharp tongue.
But players want to play for him because they know they're going to get better and they're going to win and they're going to get drafted high in the NFL, which he was able to demonstrate. I think that is the case with Indiana going forward. This team is going to win. They're going to win at a high level, and they'll probably win that Big Ten again.
Athlon actually picks Ohio State in their newly designed patch.
Do they have Oregon?
They have Ohio State 1. They have Oregon 2. No, excuse me, Indiana 2.
Yeah.
And then Oregon 3. So, the good part about it is, what did we say, 32 days yesterday to week 0, now we're 31.
We're close to, 31. Tomorrow's the big 3-0.
And we know how fast weeks go, so it'll be right upon us.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
I can't wait.
By the way, August 4th, coming up next week, a lot of teams will get underway. I know Utah State will. We may be up in Logan again on
sweet.
August 4th.
I would love that. And we're playing golf Thursday with BYU's event, right?
This Thursday. Yeah, this Thursday. Yep. Coming up 2
down
days
to their
from now.
deal. So that'll be fun. PK and you and I down there.
Oh, boy. Yeah. And I by the way, that wasn't a shot at PK or you. I just my golf game's not where it needs to be.
No, hey, those holes will just be fodder for what we're going to talk about on the show.
Yeah. See, we
don't worry about that.
And again,
stuff.
that's what I'm nervous about. Content is great as long as I'm not the one producing the content.
That isn't true at all. You are the producer of this. I mean, we talk like Lloyd is, but if coming up with a warm body and pushing buttons, I mean, taking a lot of vacation. If that's producing, by goodness, he does that well.
By the way, Alex doing a tremendous job. I mean, Lloyd pushes button. Alex actually puts
and he like when we're funny, he laughs. I get
even when we're not funny, he laughs, which is good.
Well, I hope it's just when we're funny because he laughs all the time.
Yeah. Look, even our bad ones, he's like, you know what? I'll give it a courtesy laugh. I'm at that point in my career where I feel like I still have to give courtesy laughs. You don't have to, by the way.
No. I laugh at the funnies, man.
All right, we'll wrap up this bad boy. Get you ready for Jake Scott, Ben Anderson coming up at 2:00 right here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
The best sports radio in Utah is right here. This is Scotty G and the coach, Tim LaComb, on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Hey, good show today. I don't know if it's a $28 million Draymond show today, but we did our best.
I think we deserve. If he's getting it, we should get it.
Well, look, if Draymond, we gave way more effort than Draymond will give next year, or has given the last several years.
We weren't petulant in the least.
We didn't punch anybody. We didn't put anybody in a headlock. So, and we gave better effort. So, yeah, where's our $28 million?
So Golden State, you might wonder why they're not doing very well. So I mentioned Curry, $62 million. Let me add Jimmy Butler's 56.
Oh, Jimmy.
And then the dog of contracts that we talked about with Draymond at 28. But then, add insult to injury, Moses Moody is getting 26.
Yeah, that's a no-go right there.
And I think we have a new name for the guy making the decisions there.
Jake Scott?
Yeah, he coined it. Didn't you coin it? I live for your nicknames.
Oh, we're talking about the Nepo Dunleavy.
Right.
Mike, and we were searching for that first name, and I thought...
It was perfect.
I thought Skippy.
Yeah.
Skippy.
I just
Skippy Dunleavy.
Watched him walk into the war room with a little propeller hat on. Like,
hi, guys.
What button you need me to push? I was an NBA player as my dad was, too. He's a coach, too.
You know how I got into Duke? My dad called Mike and said, hey, you got a spot for my kid?
You got a place for Skippy?
Remember, I bring this up from time to time, but remember old Jurgen Klinsmann, the old U.S. soccer coach, when he came in guns a-blazing and clowning the Lakers for signing Kobe when he came back from his Achilles and they still gave him like a $25 million contract or whatever, and he's like, I don't understand this about this country. Why do you reward players for what they've done why do you pay players for what they've done as opposed to what they are going to do for you? That doesn't make any sense. So Draymond Green is going to do nothing for Golden State next year, but somewhere Skippy Dunleavy is thinking like, well, we've got to reward this guy.
We owe him for everything.
Why are we paying him 28? Oh, it's his Lifetime Achievement Award.
Yeah, exactly.
And then you wonder how these franchises fall off, and like how Dirk Nowitzki's career ended in Dallas.
Brought
the way
that one up
did.
too. It feels exactly the same.
And they don't have the guts to trade the superstar, the legend, but yet make just buffoonish decisions to, keep it going.
But he was loyal to us. He wants to end his career here. No, he wants your $28 million, and nobody else was going to give that to him.
I don't think the hairdo that came before Skippy was very good either. I think the magic there was Jerry West.
That hairdo is something, though.
Yeah, that hairdo. And now the hairdo is doing football stuff or what else? Now he had his hair in hockey or something. I don't know.
He's got a wild hair. What he has.
You know what I'm talking about, Myers?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not Michael.
I don't think he was great either. But Jerry West was who he was, and it hasn't been the same since he left there.
Hey, who's the guy that wrecked the Jazz locker? Mark Jackson. Hey, he's the one that got things kind of clicking there, and then they fired him.
They should have. He was so bad. Don't forget how bad Mark Jackson was. He was just
He wanted
terrible.
to go out there. He was trying to sub himself in a suit.
I love it.
That guy, they should not let him call Warriors games, or I guess it doesn't even matter.
Because it's almost spiteful,
but
right?
back after,
that was the best.
Oh, dude,
I was dying when he'd call those games.
Bitter.
But wouldn't we all be a little bitter?
Yeah, but he deserves it.
Oh, yeah, it doesn't matter if you deserve it or not. You'd still be bitter.
Oh, yeah. Well, and he is.
Yeah. No, I was like, hey, petty and vindictive,
Hey,
man. I got you.
The truth definitely brings it. It's why Draymond, as you pointed out in the break, punched Jordan Poole, because he basically called him a $50 million backpack. And when the truth hurts like that, you tend to react.
Like that.
You react
like
poorly when it hits home.
Yeah, that's when you're the most sensitive, right?
Yeah, when they're like, oh, they're actually right.
Isn't that when you're the most angry at your spouse is when they have you pegged? When they've got it right on the nose?
Yeah.
I'm sitting with two big salary cap guys here. I'm just on my rookie deal still.
That's Alex over there. Alex is.
What's he laughing at now?
I know. I heard it. And I don't like what you're doing, Scott Garrard.
Like that?
Not one bit.
I didn't hear anything.
I heard it after I said it.
All I know is I got laughs out of Christian and Alex.
Yeah,
so
I heard it.
Yeah.
Get your mind out of the gutter, Scotty.
Scotty, you're one of a kind. You really are. Not just as a human being, as a gardener. But you're one of a kind.
You know what? I've got to go and I got to cut down some brush.
And we're shopping for a shed. I'm going to help you find a shed. I inherited my shed.
I'm trying to build my own shed, Jake.
Okay.
Trying to build my own shed. And I have got, first off, it's a nightmare just getting bids back from people on quotes on lumber. Like, I just need lumber. That's it. I just need some lumber. And I'm not looking for freebies, but I got one bid that was at $2,200. And I'm just building like a 10 by 16 shed. Like, it's not that big. 10 by 6, $2,200 just in lumber. And then I got one today for over $3,000 in lumber.
Yeah.
It's like, what's going on?
They're stealing from you.
Yeah. So
your average shed building contractor out there isn't paying that.
No, that's the thing. And then I could buy one and just have it brought to the house for less, about that same amount, which I want to build it.
No,
man.
you don't.
Yeah, we'll get Skippy on it.
No, dude, make some pens. If you need to scratch that itch, dude, make some pens. You don't need to build
Scotty,
a shed.
The pen itch is kind of in the rearview mirror.
Oh, yeah, that's gone?
I still do it.
Make a piano leg or something. I don't know.
I think you should start a line of pens made from the wood of your yard and call them G-Yard.
G-Yard pens. I like it.
So you're losing the pens, but going with a shed?
I want to build a shed. Like, I thought it would be cool to, bring the kids out. We're all going to get our hammers and power drills, and let's get going. Let's have some
leave
fun.
your hammer in your tool belt, and you let some professionals do this.
Because then you could go back and you're 3 years later, I built that.
Wait. I'm kind of with you on the kids thing, though. But what you should do is get them a YouTube video and say, go and build my shed. Now I could get on board with that.
Well, we will all be watching YouTube videos. Yeah.
Just arm them with YouTube videos and say, I'd want to see a shed by 6:30.
Yeah, ready, go.
Ready and go. I could get on board with that.
I would hate to see that, what it looked like, but I'm in.
All right, 2 o'clock straight up. Coming up next, Jake and Ben, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.